Make a good Mega Man level contest 3. Powered up. Or something like that. Hi, hello, welcome back. We're still playing through this game. I cannot believe that we're still in the middle of tier 12 here. Last time we, did some kind of cool levels, and then some levels that I was maybe not super enthused about. Some things where I was like, wow, I don't mind waiting for a snail. But then other things where I'm just like, I'm not a huge fan of, rocks that are basically dust blocks. But, here we are. Levels are getting pretty good. I'm honestly excited to keep continuing. And I keep flicking my stick for some reason, so... let's just see if Hunter Woman can maybe fix that a little bit for us. Power plants, hardly a hunter's domain, but just as forests are littered with ancient homes, modern cities will one day become ruins. Oh, true. I remember Life After People. That show showed me that. When that time comes, and I must face even greater foes, I shall be prepared. I've been practicing stalking in factories, nuclear reactors, and funeral homes. I don't know if there's really anybody to stalk in a nuclear reactor or a funeral home, but sure. Hey, Coolies ET, what's up? Thanks for joining. How you been doing? What's this? We're nowhere yet everywhere when the world may loop. Huh. Okay, looping level could be a cool concept. And a unique spawn animation. Alright, I'll take that. Oh, okay, looping gimmicks. I actually really enjoy looping gimmicks. I think they're quite fun, honestly. Reminds me of a lot of, old Atari / arcade game days. It's just something very simple about having something completely wrap around like that is still yet so charming. Oh, okay. I'll take that. Can't sneak that quite by me. Oop. Let's see. What's going on here in my life? Kind of a little off kilter today. I decided to work from home instead of the, usual go into the office to work option. So it's nice to actually have a little bit of time back, though it does kind of mean that I am, almost feels like it's an off day, but honestly, it's cool to have the benefit, so you're not going to hear me complain about it for sure. Otherwise, let's see, what else is up with the weekend? I don't know. Weekend mostly spent doing a whole bunch of video editing type things. Got out the little short / ad this weekend, so it was nice. I'm liking the pacing in the level so far. It's got a very good balance of the auto scroll somehow really works with the whole wraparound gimmick pretty nicely. I feel like there's a good pace going here. Oop. The atmosphere is set, really well. It gives me time to actually think about what's going on. And for once, these stupid little flag enemies are not the most annoying thing in the world to be fighting. I got so sick of fighting those things in, what was it? Funhouse? Yeah, or no, House of Fun, with all the, magma beams and jewel platforms. That level was, I still managed to enjoy it, but the part where it just threw those at you in the middle of a whole bunch of, swinging jewel platforms was not a very fun experience. Huh, interesting. There's probably some gimmick way to get up there, but I'm just gonna do it this way. Uh-oh. Alright, hit to the functionality score there. Not so sure what was happening with the screen wrap there, but I suppose that's how it goes. Oh, hey, interesting. It's still screen wrapping this way. Maybe I should go backwards? Oh, okay. I don't know if that's maybe communicated super well, but I will say that is at least an interesting way to make the stage progress. So now do I just fall down here and I hit the red button? Oh, okay. Sweet. Whoa. Strongly dislike jewel platforms. I mean, it's understandable. The momentum mechanics are pretty odd to actually have to cater to. But, eventually they make sense, in my opinion. It's, I like the idea of having, momentum-based platforming, though, like, originally in Mega Man 9, it is, annoying to deal with. just because of the sheer number of spikes they tend to get put next to. Hey, Grim Specs. Let's see. Finished the edit to you, dropped in the share drive, and get a chance to see it. All right, cool. Thank you. I will definitely give that a look. Probably Wednesday, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Yeah, I would just go with the level. Don't try to platform. It'll loop me back around eventually, right? I'm still not a fan of any time anyone decides to use the Metool enemy there. I'm really not into... I'm into the thick Mets event aesthetically, but not at all from a mechanics perspective. They just kind of become a giant pain in the ass to deal with. Let's see, what else? Oh, Grim, I listened to, I did actually give the Guilty Gear XX Reload a soundtrack a chance over the last week. It was pretty cool. It wasn't quite my favorite kind of metal album. It was just kind of like, all of it was good. To me, it was just kind of like a matter of, like, it felt more something I would vibe out to and just kind of put in the background rather than, you know, nothing really, not too many things really grabbed my attention. I liked a couple of tracks, like, let's see, I wrote down a couple of names here of things that I actually remembered. Let's see, Take the Pain I felt used silence pretty well, so that was actually something that, you know, I liked. I think it's, you know, a jazz snob would kind of be like, it's all about the notes you don't play, right? And, you know, I think honestly that piece did it really well. So, you know, I enjoyed something like that. I actually heard, I kind of laughed. I heard Crash and Burn before, probably because I was looking at my algorithm, you know, previously and said, oh, hey, that has the word crash in it, right? Maybe that could be free on-theme BGM, right? And I listened to it. It's all right. You know, it could definitely have its uses, but it was funny that I had actually stumbled upon the soundtrack before we even talked about it last week. Oh god, not this boss again. I'm so sick of seeing this boss in this competition. This is like the Kamuso man of MaGMML3. It's everywhere. Let's reload. Oh, so the Korean one. Yeah. I was listening to the original one at first, and I was like, okay, wait, there's actually some differences here. And like you said, listen to the Korean version. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, yeah, soundtrack was good. Just, I'll finish listening, give it a once-over. But, otherwise, you know, probably not something I'm gonna completely add to my listening rotation, but I got a handful of things that I actually enjoyed there. Alright, I mean, that level overall, like, I thought it was fun. It didn't really have only... Was the Underworld? Yeah, that was another one that was pretty good, actually. I did recognize and save that one. I'll give that a couple more listens, see what actually stands out to me about it. Every Mega Man soundtrack is good. I mean, I would debate on 11. 11's probably the one soundtrack that I don't really like that much. There's a couple, I mean, the Fortress themes are great. And, what is it? Vault Man's theme's good. Impact Man's theme could just use different instruments. I don't mind it. It's just the instrument set that really doesn't vibe with me in Mega Man 11, which is a shame because Mega Man 11 is my favorite of the classic series and probably of all Mega Man games. It's just I wish the music had a different, you know, sound font to it. Didn't have to quite be 8-bit, but, you know, if it was, you know, more along the lines of, like, quote-unquote real instruments than just synths, I would probably have liked it a little bit more. Because I'm not against synths on principle, but just the way they used it, every single track kind of had the same vibe to it, and wasn't really my favorite thing. But anyways, yeah, this level. Oh, it was, I mean, it was cool. I'm a sucker for looping gimmicks, so I thought that was good. And it kind of, the way it wrapped upon itself was really cool. Like, I wasn't mentioning, I was talking over at the time, but, like, there was the screen that had, you know, it's combining the auto-scroller with the switch blocks, and you had to jump down the pit in one, and then you actually go through a bunch of, like, side paths to get back onto the main path, and now, wow, all of a sudden, the pit is switched, or the switch is flipped, and now you're taking the top path. Like, it was a cool way to make the level feel, I guess, maybe larger, smaller, one of those words, like, you know, you could theoretically just call it linear. I'm sure that's kind of how it's maybe mapped. in the Megamix engine, but it's still fun to just kind of explore with that kind of non-Euclidean space. Oh, no way. And to have the Switch gimmick go with it, it makes sense. It pairs well. Even if it is resoundingly simple, I do like it quite a bit. 8-bit IMO, since, yeah, it does. It would help give it some more identity. Of course, I'm sure if they use the same kind of, square pulses, triangle pulses, etc. for, every stage, it would then sound the same, but people are pretty good about composing, recomposing something so it's not quite like that. Character model is lacking the visors. Is this your Halloween variant? Not quite. I don't actually have a perfect Halloween variant, but this is one that I, have had in reserve, and I just kind of keep forgetting to switch off to for some reason, and decided, yeah, why not? I'll show it off today. And probably out, through Spooky Month too, because, I've got that Sweet Home playthrough coming up, and I want to get that, going, help give a little bit of visual flair, and I guess the orange piercing eyes, really help bring home the Halloween idea, so might as well go for it, right? I think I also have a Minecraft pumpkin PNG I isolated last year, so I might also throw that on too, to, really sell it. Ye goodness, what's the point of having such a long name? Oh, come on now, people. Hey, Mick, do you remember Funbags' full name? I sure don't. Grimspecs does, but I sure don't. If you can help it, you could really stop having gigantic nameplates. Just makes your level of harder to talk about unless everyone uses a nickname or shortens it. Just something deliberately dumb. All the Chuck Magnet's damage counter, but either way, I wouldn't advise it. Ridiculous name aside, this is an interesting level. It doesn't look like much at first, but generic space station. Let's see. One of the more cerebral platforms of the contest. Ooh. Yeah, I would agree. It is. For some reason, that screen wrapping gives this cerebrality to it, even if there's only maybe 1 or 2 times where it's actually like a puzzle rather than just a linear space. I guess that might be a criticism I have for it. It didn't really lean hard enough into the puzzle aspect of wrapping spaces. But, I'll take it. Like a YouTube chat displaying during the stream, also part of Spooky Month. Oh, uh-oh. That's not good. You're so right. Maybe I should just try and refresh it. Streamlabs might have just kind of wrapped itself out. I hope that's not going to be permanent. Yeah, I don't know. I hit the refresh button. Maybe it'll kind of fix itself here in a couple seconds. If, we get another message. Let's see, the auto scroll is also great. Love how the first token factors into the intro, teaching the player through reward. Oh yeah, that's true. I thought I was just gonna die down a pit, but no, it looped me around. It was nice. Vtuber and Waltria don't stand out as much. Fujin. God, that's a name. Gets a lot of use in out-of-reach target. Chuck Magnets here. Avoid confusion. Yeah, they are definitely the least annoying in a game in this incarnation because they're so awful elsewhere. Let's see, aforementioned aesthetic. The music is pretty good for thinking. The visual design is extremely boring, draining a lot of fun from the place if you aren't a puzzle person. I guess it doesn't pop that much, but, it is kind of just nondescript, generic location in space, but I'm fine with it. Favorite classic game? Hold on, let me get through Mick's comment. Hunter, it feels like they're just there to have a boss. I'm well aware that Mega Man has boss fights. I struggle to name a classic Mega Man that doesn't have one. Formula does work against itself sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of like the Rush Bike level from a couple tiers ago. Can't say it's super amazing, but what's got is just fine. A couple kinks to iron out, really. Yeah, agreed. Let's see. Mega Man 7 is my favorite classic game. It's controversial. Honestly, I really enjoyed... I agree with you there. Mega Man 7 is probably one of my favorites of the classic series. It's not... I don't remember. Is it quite my top? No, it's 11. I think 7 used to be my favorite until 11 came out. And then 11 kind of surpassed it and just kind of, did everything else that I really wanted to. But no, 7 is very solid. Like, it has really excellent level design, solid weapon set, great music. And I still like the final boss, to be quite honest. It's difficult, but it's something to get used to. It's a good challenge once you're, accustomed to most of the Mega Man series. Why is chat not working? That is strange today. I have it on top of everything else. Let's see. Can I try to... Let's see. Technical difficulties. Let me try to pull up Streamlabs again and see if it will function. Maybe I just have to refresh it on the actual website. I'm not actually sure if the stage or my stage is the longest named character-wise. I really want to like Mega Man 7. Something about the overall game feels off to me, but Mega Man's overall size. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with, you know, that being a good criticism. Like, I enjoyed, you know, as I've made not a secret here, I enjoyed watching Nathaniel Hoover, aka Gemini Laser, aka Flashman 85's work. Yeah, you know, pointing out how in, like, Mega Man 7, the proportions are a lot larger, more like the Game Boy games. It does stand out, and 7 does feel like a little bit slower and a little bit, like, clunkier in the controls department, but it's not something that I'm actually, you know, it doesn't really affect me. Like, for example, Mega Man 8 really affects me. Like, I can feel just how sluggish Mega Man 8 is. I always feel like I'm moving through, like, you know, Jello or something. Let's see. I just refresh things here on Streamlabs. Main theme, blah, blah, blah. Launch. Okay, well, yeah, I don't really know why chat's not working today. Well, I suppose it's not too big of a deal, but... you know, maybe I'll try to fix it for tomorrow. Otherwise we'll move on. It's not listening to the interesting theme of the game. Help me, Mega Man 7. I mean, it's a really solid one. It gets the blood pumping, honestly. I guess that sounds so weird. And Mega Man, I don't know, Mega Man looking kind of big. I don't know, Dr. Light. Looking kind of sus. Let's see. Not too keen on screen wrapping gimmicks. Really? Half the time I see it's used to create finicky and confusing maze-like setups. For what it's worth, though, the stage manages to avoid it. Yeah, it's linear and good segments, so that's solid. I agree the strongest aspect of the level is screen wrapping, using tandem with enemy placement. One moment in particular that stuck out to me was the fat tool that you need to fight twice after flipping a switch and looping to the top of the screen. Yeah, that is one thing I would say this gets right. You actually have to think about, you know, the enemy coming back onto the screen. At the very least, I have to actually think, oh, right, there's going to be a fat tool that's going to, like, jump right in front of me. I have to actually, you know... I have to actually, you know, have a pulse check, and that's something that could have been, you know, very easily fumbled. Fujin was somewhat threatening. A lot of thought into the segments. Only section I didn't like as much was the strange loop into the second token, where you need to hit a switch and then immediately backtrack. Yeah, it wasn't completely clear, but at the same time, you know, your options are limited, so it's not like it's, you know, too dooming. Yeah. All in all, it's about all I can think to mention. Strangely empty. Yeah, I feel like it went safe with the aspect of not being too chaotic, which I appreciate. Enemy spam is a problem. All things considered, the average is out to being pretty decent level. Sure. I'm gonna play Mega Man and Bass just because the game feel is better. That is a hot take. But yeah, I can kind of agree. There is something about Mega Man Bass that feels a little bit more fluid in the controls, but I don't know. 7 feels right at home enough for me. I guess, I don't know, something about the patience aspect of things. Here? Where? There! Werewolf! Pretty creative level with screen warping. Warping? Can you wrap your head around the warping going on? Alright. Feel like you're trying to do some wordplay there, Patchy. Once you treat them as soft reset points, definitely applaud the fact that the rules of the stage remain consistent. It's never a death pit, that's good. Switch states are global. Even if one shows a wrong path, it's never a straight up dead end. The level conveniently warps you back to where you need to be. Tokens are hidden in plain sight. Good. Some of the jumps may be a little unnecessarily tight and precise. It's never a huge setback or failure. You gotta get them uncomfortable. Boss is a little unfitting. Yeah, agreed. Concerned about the inclusion of the maze warp gimmick in the dev kit. Oh, that's actually a dev kit asset? Huh, interesting. Any asset can be a problem in the wrong hands. Think of some uniquely terrible scenarios involving players being teleported who knows where without necessarily noticing. Oh, I'm so glad that nobody decided to go with I mean, the closest thing was probably that one level that hopped between like 6 simulations in Tier 5, but thankfully that was mostly linear too. But yeah, I can imagine someone just creating an absolute maze and being awful. Unfortunately, the very nature of the level is headache-inducing. Really? So I'm just going to be a brain bender, and for sticking around with such a limited number of gimmicks and enemies. Aside from too many long, precise jumps, the challenges are pretty tame. How they catch the player off balance thanks to the maze warping. Press them in the midst of all these twists and turns, it's a steady learning curve and always ample time to react to the latest surprise. What makes the whole thing headache-inducing is the unpredictability of how and where things will loop. Whether the edge of the screen is a maze warp, regular screen transition, or solid wall is, as far as I can tell, something you can only discover through trial and error. Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know, for me it never felt like confusing to get through. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, like I'm just going forward and eventually I will get out of here. Doesn't help that Rush Jet allows you to skip whole challenges. Yeah, sometimes. That's why I can't enjoy this as much as I want. Maybe a problem for anyone less puzzle inclined and more easily disoriented than I am. It's solidly constructed. Starts to hurt after a few minutes? Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Puzzle stages are difficult to create, make things too obscure, and you risk severe frustration. Especially when they start to make use of moon logic. Ooh. Was the opposite route, as a puzzle level doesn't really click. Yeah, it doesn't really feel too puzzly. There's just kind of a remember that there's going to be an enemy here. But, you know, it's a decent linear romp. You die, try to figure out where you got placed. Core gimmick didn't really engage. Highlights, though. Portions where you are required to go back on yourself once is fun. Tell is obvious, something's happened. A-Spark appreciates the Rush Jet. Flashman, not as much. Helps along and often punishing checkpoints a tad. Thankfully, thought it's put into many areas we can fail through the pits. It doesn't instantly die. I mean, it's kind of hard to die in this level. I can see the checkpoints being spread out, being justified. There's not really a whole lot going on, damage-wise or spike-wise. WonderSwan Games. New boss room for Hunter, being slightly modified. Have a fairly good impact. Oh, this A-Spark. This must have been the first time you fought this boss in the competition. Also lands for me. Nice looking stage. Tile work is solid. Bog standard. Here we go again. Stop writing this thing. Stop writing this cursed phrase, guys. Only challenging the more generic stages. The track fits the move. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. Neat little level. I'm a sucker for the gimmick. Hey, Sparkman, you're not green. We're kind of losing the green theme here at this point, huh? Term is grueling. Finally appreciate what you've gone through with fighting Dr. Wily all these years, getting blindsided by flying enemies and crushed by blocks and launched into spikes. Oh my. Never wish that on anyone. Hit base is good. MaGMML3 base is bad. The GBA version. Insane enough to play X6, yeah. Cool. Ooh, Guitar Man? I think I recognize this. Doesn't I think Guitar Man has a alt weapon, doesn't he? I haven't actually checked out the dev or the in-game alternate weapons yet. Been trying to, insanely save those until I can get through all the actual main levels. I want to enjoy them at their base difficulty. Ooh, that is a very stylish way to do a fall through platform. I love that. Short hops won't cause it to fall through, but if you give it a long hop, then it'll be... Okay, that's really interesting. Not only is that interesting mechanically, but it is also just interesting, aesthetically. How could you not love jumping on a guitar string to vibrate it? That's so perfect. Okay, and then we have to a little frustrating to time the height of the jump to get through that, but otherwise pretty good. I feel like the music here is a little bit too quiet. Let me adjust that. There we go. Now I can actually hear the beautiful VGM. Alright, I see. I spy with my little eye a little corner up in the left here. Yep. Gotta be a secret. How does Ice Wall get affected? Okay, Ice Wall's affected as you would think it would be. Sliding? Okay. This is a bit tedious to get through. That's like a perfectly height jump to actually go and grab that token. But thankfully, there's not too much threat going on, so I could forgive it. All right, and now we don't want to overhop here and screw myself over. We want to slide to dodge that enemy. All right, you're getting a lot of mileage. This is getting a lot of mileage out of this gimmick in a very short amount of time. I gotta respect it. This is cool as hell. Like ice cream. Me too. We have so much in common. I would say, let's see. I tend to be a fan of fruit-flavored things, so I would say probably strawberry ice cream might be my favorite, or like a strawberry cheesecake ice cream. That's really hits the spot. I would generally, I don't know, for me, I would probably generally just prefer like a cheesecake itself over ice cream. I've always been more of a... I always like savory flavors just a little bit more, so, you know, adding a little bit more of the savory, a little less of the sweet tends to do it for me. Oh, okay, these are semi-solid platforms. Semi-solid platform. Okay, over this way. And the aesthetics are evolving. Now we're on stage. I love it. Surely there's a secret in this direction. Uh-oh. And mistimed it. Great. Level is awesome. Yeah, it certainly does. The aesthetics here are wonderful. The mechanics are great. I really can't find a thing that I dislike about this level so far. Maybe just maybe some tedium with the guitar string challenge, but like otherwise, you know, so far this is making for a very good first and second act. Let's see how it actually wraps up. Probably combines these gimmicks. Chocolate soft serve with chocolate chips and hot fudge for me. A chocolate enjoyer, I see. I've never been... Honestly, that's probably the one thing that has made me a little unusual among a lot of others. I'm not a super huge chocolate fan. I don't hate it, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not my top tier sweet choice. There's just something about it that never really appealed to me. Also because, you know, I tend to like chocolate the lighter it gets, actually, so I would actually enjoy white chocolate more than even milk chocolate. Something about me, I don't know. Chocolate has fun chemistry, though. I always think about theobromine and just how it's iconic for some reason. There's a whole lot of neurochemical, you know, stuff going on with it. Oh, okay, that wall is a little bit hidden. I think that maybe the stage graphics are getting a little bit too creative here. Just in this one spot, but it's not too difficult to tell what's going on. Nor is it exactly punishing either, so... Uh-oh, later. Okay. Oh, you're back. On two, I see. Neapolitan flavor is my favorite, and chocolate's my second favorite. I mean, you know, the joke with Neapolitans, like, you're probably gonna have your favorite in there somewhere, right? It's, one of it's strawberry, one's chocolate, one's vanilla, so, like, you know, I would say that 1/3 of Neapolitan's my favorite. 1/3 is something I'm, you know, accepting and neutral towards, and I like, and then the other third is, it's chocolate, it's fine. Okay. Ooh, and we got an audience now? Oh, Hey, chat, look, it's you! Used to hate vanilla for the longest time because of frosted donut and threw up, so I refused to have vanilla. Yeah, flavors are funny like that. On a completely different food topic, it's probably the main reason why I really can't stand fish. When I was very young, my parents were, you know, out on a date, and even though Mom insisted we should just get Crash, you know, a sitter, you know, even if that, you know, contacting family or anything else like that, Dad insisted on, you know, still dragging me out to the, whatever place they went to. And it was lobster that they were having, and I was not a fan. Very, very quickly threw up, and have forever been grossed out by fish my entire life as a result. Oop, oh, uh-oh. Screwed that up. I'm an audience gets to appear on stream, but not us, SMA. I know, right? That's not. It really isn't fair. This is the one stream where you don't get to be here. I guess this is how I include you this time. There's some chat bubbles down. Yeah, no, cannot stand the taste, the smell, the anything of fish anymore in my entire life. It's very gross. I've only barely recently been able to like warm up to like shrimp, and I was in New Orleans once, and there was a pretty mean catfish gumbo that I had at a little event, and I liked that. But otherwise, it's just I don't know. There's something about that. Just my nerd chemistry ass brain wants to say that a mean flavor. You know, that thing everybody knows what I'm talking about. But just kind of that, you know, the basic fishy, kind of oily, it's just not something I can deal with. Even sushi? Yeah, I mean, I haven't, I'll be honest, haven't tried sushi, but I have that, you know, 5-year-old's intuition that I'm not gonna like it, so I haven't really bothered, you know, with very much of it. But I would imagine that if it's, you know, if it's the raw fish smell and compounds that I really dislike that get worse when they get cooked, I'm probably not gonna like, you know, just eating raw fish. No, I live on the beach. You think you'd like fish, but oh, yeah, exactly. Good joke with me and my friends is that it's like I'm really barely Italian at a certain point because I have Italian-American, you know, heritage. But of all things that I dislike, we have on the top of the list tomatoes and fish. Like, there's no hope for me. Could never actually live in Italy. Would be completely, you know, rejected by my people. Okay, that's probably another secret area. Kind of appreciate that all these little tokens are actually hidden behind, you know, little, just keep your eye on things spots. They're not just right out in the open. Oh, okay. Alright, I certainly lucked my way into that token. That feels like it should have taken way longer to do. Like, that was a hell of a challenge to actually ask of the player. And how do I get back? Guess it has to be Magnet Beam. Good old Magnet Beam, nothing beats that. Alright, but this is I mean, third act of the stage, I think really solid. Combined things super well, and, you know, I could see some people maybe getting frustrated. I was certainly dying there a good bit, but overall, like, that was hella fun and really cool gimmick combination. Someone has introduced a ton of people to sushi, think they hate it. You might really like it. You're British. Oh, nice to see you. Also Italian-American with a disdain for tomatoes and cooked fish. Crash, we're bonded. Oh, we're sisters! Sisters! Yeah, that's actually funny to hear. Most people completely berate me for this opinion. The other opinion that gets, okay, Guitar Hero reference. Fucking awesome. This is great. Holy shit, this entire stage is awesome from beginning to end. Maybe Guitar Man's being a little bit easy, but, you know, it was creative at least. Yeah, minus sauce is the only really form of tomato I can actually take. Like, you put a tomato in a burger, it absolutely ruins things for me. And, only recently have I actually had the courage, I guess you could call it, to bother making my own sauce from scratch and not fear, like, oh god, it's raw tomato, it's gonna be terrible. And it's like, oh, actually, wait, this is pretty good once I've actually, like, you know, stewed it, baked it, what have you. Just remind me of James Charles, help me. I mean, you know, it might be obvious. No, that's actually something that I picked up from graduate school. There was so the people I worked with in graduate school, maybe a little bit cliquey, not the best time of my life, but, you know, I kind of had some friend moments with them, it was fine. And one of the things that they would do with, you know, one of the members being a gay man, he would go with, like, some of the other, you know, people he made friends with, and, you know, they kind of did, like, a whole thing with it. You know, they would they would go at each other, sisters, whenever, like, you know, they were, like, matching on accident or, like, you know, had the same chemistry problem or something. So that's where I picked up that vocal tick. That you're putting chocolate syrup on my French toast. There's nothing wrong with it? No, that sounds completely normal. I mean, I guess eggs and chocolate doesn't, you know, sound like it makes sense at first, but also, like, chocolate pudding. It's basically just and French toast is really just, like, cooked custard in bread. Like, it's the same thing. So that, and people put powdered sugar, will put honey, put, you know, whatever else on your French toast. It makes total sense. But yeah, I don't know, like, Guitar Man, that was kind of a home run of a level for me. I guess Guitar Man himself was a bit of a weak boss, could have used probably some more attacks and such, but, like, otherwise, that was really cool. Like, the stage had really great design, the gimmicks were well designed, they were simple but well thought out, they combined with each other really nicely, made for good timing challenges, made it so I had to dodge enemies in a unique way. Tokens were hidden well, were decent challenges, maybe a bit on the tedious side, but at the very least, you know, they weren't like sending you back and dying over and over again. That would have been truly tedious. What else? I mean, obviously the aesthetics were jam. Music was good, maybe could have captured my attention a little bit more, but otherwise I definitely liked it. And, I mean, even if Guitar Man was himself a little bit weak to fight, it was still like a really solid aesthetic and adaptation of designs. Maybe if Guitar Man's attacks just came out like a little bit faster and he was a little bit more mobile, then I think everything would probably have culminated super well. Or like, if anything, like maybe you have to have the guitar strings in Guitar Man's arena. That could have helped him, because he does jump upwards. If you have to chase after him, it makes it so, like, you know, you have to deal with the weird platforms too. But I mean, otherwise, I really liked that level. I would probably rate this higher than any of the judges here. You know, with on a rough back of the envelope, no scorecard type thing. But, you know, yeah, fucking great level. In high school anymore. One friend made a grilled cheese using 2 puppets. Oh, god, and it was probably American craft singles in between too. Couldn't even choose a good cheese. I have no idea what to make of this stage. The gimmick design's alright, the yellow strings are very distinctive, they get a lot of excellent use. The great platform gimmick, small hops can be a bit awkward. Tondal is a bit more useful than usual. I like how Sushi Breaker gets some spotlight, but conversely, Bladers are about as annoying as ever. Assuming they're not being used for target practice. I wouldn't quite say they're annoying as ever. It's just tests. I mean, Bladers are annoying if you can't shoot them down quickly. Like, if your aim is not good. Excuse me. Then Bladers are actually going to get in your way. That's what was my experience in Mega Man 1. But nowadays, it's like, no, Bladers are just, you know, fodder. Not sure what this has to do with guitars. Not with the gimmicks, the string platforms, obviously strings. The great platforms reference to the stops. Blind spot. Fusion is more the enemies. Mega Man games, particularly the recent ones. Staff the row at Master Stage was playing thematic goons. I have no idea what block crushing and small helicopters have to do with the rock concert. Lack of themed enemies combined with somewhat weird gimmicks throws the aesthetic into complete disarray. I suppose that's a decent complaint. There are other levels where, for some reason, like, I guess that definitely did pass my mind. I think everything else kind of swept me up pretty nicely. But yeah, I guess the enemies weren't themed very well with this. But then again, you know, depending on what you're going for, some levels have it easier with the dev kit. Like, if you have a fire themed level, like, yeah, there's fire enemies. I don't think there is a music enemy in the Mega Man dev kit. I mean, maybe you could, like, make it so the Sheepman enemies, the totem pole ones, like, they could shoot out music notes instead. Or you could have resprited some things so they're firing music at you, but, like, I don't know, from a functionality level, the enemies are all used really solidly, and I only start to notice, like, bad theming when it, like, just completely, you know, ruins things, or it's just like, okay, I'm noticing like 16 different enemies and they're all like from different stages. At the very least, this is a confined set of enemies that don't have too much to do with music. Attacks are alright, clear theming, also laughably easy. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. As for asking what flavor Pop-Tarts he used, at this point I think I'm better off never knowing. It's surprising if he was obese for most of his high school years. Huh. I never could have known. Yeah, I don't know. Obese or has pica, because at that point they're just eating inedible food. That is maybe one of the most disgusting things I have probably heard. I mean, that's really bad. Like I swear I can probably think of something awful from like one of my old elementary school friends who was like super picky except for junk food. But like, yeah, no, that one's rough. Pop-Tarts and cheese is really rough to hear. It's kind of rough around the edges for what it's worth. I think it's a neat level with fun concepts. The main draw of the stage is the guitar string platform gimmick. Platform you can pass through based on how high you jump off is a concept I've seen before. Rainbow coil platforms, yeah, from Ringman stage is kind of close, but they function a lot more differently. Amp block gimmick as well, not as creative as the guitar strings. It's really nice and well thought out gimmick enemy synergy here. Bit of waiting involved for a lot of these segments. You won't be stuck standing around too much. No, and it's plus, there's timing aspect to it. Actually get you to time things rather than just waiting for a block to come around. So I think that's cool. Died in trying to get out of the final room. Just so happens to be near the boss. Dying there sent me back a whole 2 hallways worth of these amp block centric rooms. Yikes. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't die too much outside of the second token. I didn't have many other issues with the stage itself. I have to nitpick though. The general clarity of the level can be a bit rough. Trying to focus on them and the enemies can be daunting at first, but it's doable. Yeah, I mean, it maybe gets you... It maybe, combines the enemies and gimmick over a pit a little bit too soon, but, it's one that you can, prepare for. Starman, not super engaging, yeah. He's way too easy. And that is music note projectiles. He fires music notes? Can actually drop items. Oh. Yeah, enjoyed the stage otherwise. Because more schools people eat like knives or coins at full side set. Grim, I know that. It's streamer hyperbole. Let's Mega. Or wait, it's more like Let's Mega. Really adore the look of the stage, make it look like a performance of stage of sorts. And make your way to the front stage itself. Audience to boot. Incredibly charming. Can't say much if a fan of the music. For a musical theme stage, the custom gimmicks don't seem much music oriented. Yeah. Well, wait, what? No. The custom gimmicks actually absolutely are, huh? String platforms, unique with how they become. Become intangible depending on your jump height, even if the nature of the gimmick is very apparent. Let's see, unique challenges. Snake-like disappearing block can get a bit tricky to time yourself the right level. I guess maybe being a little bit slower would be nice, but challenge, it's fine. And yeah, then Guitar Man, easy. Guitar Man probably could have benefited, I can't believe I'm saying this, but benefited from actually having some iframes. Most bosses are terrible with it, but give Guitar Man a couple iframes or something to protect him. Would have actually worked out nicely. I was a little disappointed with the level of great potential, only realized as part of it, and a few bad points outweigh a multitude of good points. Underground music scene was going to be taken so literally in the first half, but the second half looks great. Audience is tremendously charming. Wish they cheered or jeered at the outcome of the boss fight. Yeah, and, extra programming. Guitar strings and frets make for clever gimmicks, but the sound effect of the former and the slightly dizzying look of the latter don't necessarily communicate what they are. There's a sound effect for the guitar string? I didn't even notice it. I expected at least one music-themed enemy. I'd even settle for Berserker being stunning for a guitar. Yeah, I guess. Something like an 8-bit cover of Blaze Heatniks from X6. X6 mentioned! Would have worked a bit better. Let's talk challenges. Totally appropriate introductions to new concepts. Too many screens where it's not clear what to do. Yeah, there was that one point. I noticed that sliding under the block was kind of awkward, but it's not death. It's not a death sentence if you don't get it. Choice of item not as much. Individual challenges could use some finesse, but do a good job combining elements. Difficulty progression is uneven, leaves me feeling I haven't truly mastered the gimmicks. amplifies the pain of a few outrageously precise screens, e.g. the last token. Level ends on a high note with an easy but solid boss fight. As the other custom graphics, Guitar Man looks very professional, more polished, and retooling a few key elements. You can convince me this was a Capcom level. Yeah. That one pizza I had a few months ago. Imagine a pizza with tater tots baked underneath the cheese, and the pizza dough is replaced with everything bagel. Ooh. I kind of like where this is going. Like, you wouldn't happen to be Cook Show Trevor on the side, right? Because if you haven't seen this YouTube channel, there's, there's a channel out there, Cook Show Trevor. He does a lot of, YouTube shorts, and they all show off making kind of ridiculous pizzas. Like, there's one, it almost takes an ordinary sausage kind of vibes to things, where it's like, hey, I'm going to throw, like, pizza bagels on the pizza and turn it into a pizza. I'm going to, like, take Arby's and throw it onto the pizza and try to make it. I'm going to make, like, oh god, what's it called? Chilies rellenos? No, it's the fried, like, chilies with cheese in them. And, turn that and put it into a pizza. It's as entertaining as it sounds. And honestly, some of them don't look too bad, if maybe they're just a bit of a tribute to gluttony. So honestly, the tater tot pizza sounds pretty slamming, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of tater tots myself, but, like, add potatoes to, pizza. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, also not a big crust person anyways, so replace that shit with bagel and I'll be all over it. If there was ever a Mega Man 12, what Robot Master concept would you like to see in it? Good question. I think we could probably, I think if I had more time for this, I could probably come up with, like, a really solid answer, but the one that just came to the top of my mind is how we haven't really had, like, a Karate Man or a Kung Fu Man or something, which is, like, how? Like, that feels so on brand for Capcom to just, like, throw in there. Like, maybe because it's not an easy, like, ice weapon or something, but, we have Spring Man and Clown Man and Bouncy Man at this point. It's like, yeah, just throw Kung Fu Man in there. I could get I want a cool melee weapon out of it, and I want to be able to start suplexing Big Eyes. Like, give me that 100%. I want to see that. Mini chicken cuts to the topping. American cuisine gets ridiculous. Yeah, it definitely gets crazy. A stoned man from Mega Man 13. Yeah, Stone Man shaped like a bong, throws the Power Stoner at you. Not to be confused with the Power Stone. Contacts you, makes you dizzy, you get high. It's, maybe a bit of an offshoot idea, but I'm sure Capcom, would appreciate the inspiration. Well designed, think its explodes mechanics interesting. Mechanics are introduced well and even iterated on. Does not take long to start building up more complex setups. Tokens are things of skill. Good. Yeah, no new enemies. They do the job, and I like that. And finally combining the stage hazards on one testing pot of skill. Dissing punctuation. And previously incorrect punctuation. But I think the wire wore out its welcome. Oftentimes awkward to get into the jump height right when it asks more of you. Yeah, sometimes. It's not even a hard stage, but you just start mumbling to yourself. Get down there, damn it. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the rising boxes actually get pretty interesting. Surprisingly, they're just rising boxes, but it's good. Heart token was fiddly and annoying. Yeah, that probably should have taken me more than one attempt to get. I'm gonna be honest, I got through there with streamer luck. Rock texture looks particularly flat. Appreciate all the musical apparatus though. They'll sell the theme as the crowded curtains. That said, the latter did not mix well with the rising block gimmick blocking your view. Pinch of animation here and there. Does feel like Guitar Man's level, has a secure identity. I'll certainly remember this level. This was cool as hell. This is probably going to be like my Sheriff Man pick for the previous contest, because for anybody who wasn't there in the earlier streams, I did mention that Sheriff Man actually was my favorite MaGMML3 entry, even though it wasn't, in tier 10? Or was it 1? I can't remember what the order was. I feel like the order's reversed to MaGMML3, but that could be my memory faltering me. Yeah, that was my favorite stage, even though it didn't make it into, like, the top tier. Similarly, Guitar Man's probably gonna have a soft spot in my heart, even if it's, you know, relegated to 12th, the 12th tier. Yeah, Guitar Man, attacks are flavorful, rad design, slow boss, easy to kill. Not a bad fight, good deal easier than the level. A little less fiddly, would have enjoyed it. Your mileage may vary, sort of thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I found maybe the tokens a little fiddly, but otherwise it was fun to play. Presto, no, get back here. You're the most important NPC. I have to talk to you. Woo! Ride on a big cylinder. Just like Mega Man X. It's the life, I'm the care in the world, simulations, tournaments, races, they're all nothing to me. I'm riding a big cylinder. True. Now you should be spinning up that cylinder, too. That's the only, thing that's missing here. Oh, I can certainly get down here, right? Oh, no, it's probably like a travel the other way around type thing. We'll get back to that. And man, why do they make me cool off these platforms? Why do they need cooling? What do they even do? I need a break soon. I'll be in one of the simulations if you need me. Sorry to blow you off. Close a factory. Is it this simulation? You're gonna love that clip I sent. Yeah, it's gonna be good. See a video I recommended called Balls at War. I don't know. The balls they be at war. They are not happy with each other. Calendar, current date, November 25th, 2018. No, it's not. Can you hear me? Listen, there's a madman somewhere in this factory and intends to blow up the whole place. Why must explodey things be threatened by other explodey things? Alright, well, I guess we will not blow up the place, in fact. We'll fight a red penguin in here? Gotten a recommended videos and ads called Tower's Gaming Sex Dungeon. Dude is weird sometimes. Look, y'all just wait until I start clickbaiting my titles with, like, Crash admitted what? And, like, you know, it's just some weird lewd art that I have. Noticing an increasing number of crates filled with trinitrotoluene. Oh, hey, chemistry, I know that. Scattered throughout the factory. This makes me nervous. I mean, TNT is a fairly stable explosive. Won't explode from shock like nitroglycerin or dynamite. Still, it doesn't seem like a good idea to have so much of it out in the open. God, look at that. This person named 2 different chemicals. Granted, they're common explosive chemicals, but I'll give it a pass for that. This gets the chemical stamp of approval. Unlike Radium Man, that was just like, here's, I don't know, radioactive plutonium rods in a Simpsons hell-esque apocalypse future. That got the old science brain a little bit nitpicky. Oh, okay. Is these meant to explode when... No? Okay, that's a little disappointing. I was hoping that at least the grenade would blow these things up. Oop. By the cylinder up to the top. I mean, we'll get there. It's not like we're, you know, completely done. I'm gonna detonate. It's gonna demonstrate Tate. It's gonna Andrew Tate all over the place. Ticking. Hey, what's that ticking sound in the basement? I don't know. It's probably just an old clock. Today, the union reps went around marking our security traps with warning signs. Security traps? What is this? Is this the fucking Acme factory? Is Roadrunner gonna come out here and then all of a sudden, like, Wile E. Coyote is gonna drop a bomb on my head and oops, it actually blows up all the TNT he was standing on? Looney Tunes ass... Anyways. Something about OSHA regulations. Oh shit, OSHA regulations! This stage is speaking my language. I'm a lab inspector. This is perfect. As if that's going to satisfy them. Yeah, no, it's probably less concerned about the lack of signage, more concerned about the fact that they're death traps. Exactly. And then also the fact that you're daisy chaining your electronics together. Don't do that. CEO's unreasonable. We have to go through all of our bombs and change the proximity triggers on them. I swear, if we paid attention to everything he said to do, we'd never get anything done around here. Okay, the dialogue is cute, but it is also maybe starting to wear out its welcome. I am a little bit annoyed with stopping every 5 seconds to read dialogue. Okay, yeah, cool. Come on, you wanna pop up a bomb here, or? No? Okay. I guess it's... Alright, that was maybe a little bit crappy, but... A little crappy to do to somebody, but sure, checkpoint's not too far back. I won't gripe about the explosion too much. Good music, though. This stage actually has my attention as far as the music is concerned. A very good drive to it. Nice rhythm. Can't complain. Alright, bombs. I guess the bombs only happened once for some reason, which is very unusual compared to the rest of Mega Man, what I would expect, but sure. Another day, another death trap. This one, me and several workers were told to dig a wide hole as deep as we could. Days like this, working on death traps is truly the pits. Hey, I joke what's happened to someone close to me before. Hey, tell the story? Oh god, okay. Feel free. It certainly sounds like a tale. But you know. That's up to you. Okay, I get the idea with this one. This one's just gonna be a bit of a finicky thing to wiggle through. There we go. Okay. I can appreciate that the checkpoint is just like literally in this room. That makes it way less awful to go through it. Indicated pit, nice, danger, explosives. I mean, I think that's maybe the thing I'm mostly disappointed about in this level so far. There really isn't much that's actually in the explosive, like, you know, gimmick department. It's explosive themed enemies, but that's really about it. Even the TNT boxes didn't really completely blow up. Okay. Working conveyor maintenance and cleaning. Of course, they never shut these things off. Okay. Weird addition of words. Clean safely. If OSHA got wind of this, they'd give our managers and safety officers a good belting. Okay, I think I know exactly why Flashman gave this an 80-something and Shinryu gave this like a 40-something. The density of puns is very apparent. Okay, so we just kind of wanna... Alright, we just wanna schmooze through this stage. Okay. For this screen. And jump too high. Crap. This Steve Harvey man in Eggman 12. Steve O'Harvey. And he uses the, what's his weapon? Is it the Family Feud, or is it the, yes, kill? Found a grenade in one of his dressers. Nobody's sure it's live or not. Wow. Huh. Well, I mean, probably wasn't live. Well, actually, I mean, no, I mean, I would probably bet maybe it was. Probably took it as a souvenir one day, and, just kinda, you know, forgot to tell anybody else that it was there. That kind of shit happens. I mean, for that, maybe, I don't know, Cool Easy T, if you're like, you know, British and living there, yeah, souvenir is crazy. I might be able to tell that you're British and living there, because that, to me, that sounds just like normal American coded. It's still kind of wild, but it is like, yeah, no, that sounds about right for an American veteran. And just being able to sneak things out in the olden days, like, yeah, I could imagine, you know, a veteran being able to sneak out a live arm into their dresser drawer. Hell, they could honestly probably just go out to the right shop in the middle of nowhere and purchase one. This is gonna be too much. They can't pay me enough to get to risk life and limb on a regular basis like this. I started a new job in 1 week. Good for you. Under my resignation then. I hope nothing disastrous happens before then. Uh-oh, something disastrous must have happened before then. America's crazier than you thought. It is, you know. There's a lot of cracks that form, and you just eventually, you know, like being, why is this the analogy that comes to mind? Like a bathroom stall, which is also something that is, I'm realizing, is uniquely American. There's for some reason just some cracks in the door that you can see through. And you see things that you probably were never meant to see and are perhaps unpleasant. 1950s, it was a different time. I mean, yeah, but also still, you could definitely buy a live explosive today if you just looked in the right spots. Yo, is that you? Sorry I couldn't meet you in person. I'm busy getting all the other workers evacuated. Find any journals by the workers? Wait, what? Journals? I don't know what you're talking about. Huh, okay. Boss talking to me? Anyways. Oh, we have Napalm-Coated Bomb Man? Welcome to the center of the mother of all big boom booms. You're the man behind this? Why? It's not Bomb Man anymore. It's Dunk. It's Dunk Man. You know there's only one blue bomber. Whatever, dude, but you gotta know, I'm not the bomb man you fought before. I'm nimbler, tougher, and faster, too. He's the leader of the blue bomber crew. If me, here I come. You're... The effing cracks, what the hell? Yeah, no, that's, that was something I learned a couple years ago. For some reason, I don't remember why, but for some reason in America, like, every single stall bathroom door, like, has a certain degree of, like, space between, like, the door part and the part where you turn the knob so that way it locks into the, like, quote-unquote wall of the stall. Some are not that bad, like, they're maybe a millimeter. Some are more like there's a good half a centimeter or more that's just there, and it's like, who designed it this way, and why is it so uniquely American? I remember there was some reason about it, but it's probably not a very good one. I don't think anybody about it because I didn't want to cause a scene. No one's dealt with it safely. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. Got rid of that thing. Explosive factory. Feels like a war crime to just leave the ball there. Oh, wait, they didn't want to contact anybody. Oh, my God. Ah! That's a fucking crazy story. Why would you just do that? I mean, I know you don't want to cause a scene, but I gotta agree with Cool Easy T on this one. That is like a what the hell are you doing kind of moment. Don't just leave a live ordnance for the next person. This isn't Mr. Beast, but you know, pre-disgrace. You don't double it and give it to the next guy. Like, there are companies that will handle this kind of thing, but I'm sure it would make the news. I know it's a hassle, but like, it's not you. It's like, wow. But thanks for sharing that. That was actually, that was interesting to learn, honestly. I had fun with that. I just leaves explosive around because, I don't feel like dealing with this. Someone else can do it. Forget about it. Yeah, I don't know. That level was fun. The dialogue was funny, and it was charming, and, you know, it got me into the OSHA chemistry mindset. But actual gimmicks of the level, it suffered from count bombs are not unique syndrome. Like, I needed more than just count bombs and a fiery aesthetic, and just, you know, explosively themed enemies. I needed, there was no gimmick besides count bombs in this level. I needed something a little bit more to actually push it. And, you know, I guess that's just the main thing that kind of fell apart for me. Also, a slightly modified Bomb Man. I mean, he got me with his, you know, triple bomb special attack, but other than that, you know, it wasn't really anything too crazy, so, Yeah, this level fell a lot flatter for me than the previous stage, but it was at least kind of a fun romp. Yo, wait, what this? My main goal is to blow up? And act like I don't know nobody. The modern military doesn't let you take ordnance explosives specifically. I mean, yeah, they shouldn't, but I'm sure there are ways around it. Or somebody slips through the cracks every once in a while, you know? Well, the heist relies so heavily on overused gimmicks. This was remarkably fun. Count bombs and conveyor belts alike, taking two common concepts and making some really fun scenarios. Top it off with charm, recipe for a lovely level. Don't know much of a butt this time. The communications guy is amusing. Reading the journals is good. I adored the fact that none of them relied on cheap shots to kill me, barring one early bomb. Yeah, that one did get me. Yep, checkpoints go a long way to prevent frustration on those tokens. And non-respawning enemies. Neither the walking bomb nor the red penguin show up enough. The latter, especially considering the Emperor Penguin bid boss. Yeah, it was weird to kind of be so themed and then only have a couple of penguins throughout. And the bosses themselves are fine. Emperor Penguin was an excellent mini-challenge. Blue Bomberman breathed fresh air into the old Mega Man 1 bot, making the fight surprisingly frantic with his new mid-air toss and the odd triple bomb. Just overall, this is a fun experience. I can't call it top of the line. Yeah, overused gimmicks. Much like how Rock Force's Deathman made an alienating concept fun, if still alienating, I'd still say this did the best it could with the ideas it started with. Yeah, you know, it did its best. I liked it enough. It was rompy, but it definitely still has some room for improvement. Let's see. Eating the bomb. DC. Can't help but get the impression that you were inspired by Combustman's level, not just because he uses the same music, but the way it plays out reminds me of it quite a bit as well, whether the similarities were intended or not, lacking for same reasons. Yeah, they're a little bit boring of hazards. And with the exception of this, it has segments leading to the tokens, everything including in post key room was a step up. Fortunately, by the 10 levels, actually doing more interesting things with its gimmicks, it's tiring to end. Mini boss and end boss, King Pen, fun design, goes very quickly, isn't much of a threat. Yeah, very easy to dodge. I don't think I got hit once by him. As for Blue Bomberman, I don't think it was enough to be fully distinguishing. Yeah, it just kind of felt like it had one extra attack, and that's it. Feels like a wasted opportunity that could have made the boss fight more interesting, which serves a bit of disappointing ending to an otherwise mostly lukewarm stage. Fire Bomb. Combustman's stage music is a bit peculiar? Oh, it's Combustman? Didn't even remember it. But it is a good theme, so. It's just free Mega Man style music to use that I'm not aware of. The stage consists of the count bombs, Mega Man 1 pit bombs gimmick surprisingly works super well. I always found the count bombs when used in more puzzle-like situations. The warning indicators at where they're gonna detonate are... grammar. Also nice for the Mega Man 1 up and downs. They're gonna... okay, I guess that's sort of a sentence. Anyways. Like the mini-boss sprite, behold, the Emperor Penguin of the Bomb Egg Kingdom. And you say that like Dr. Beard, behold! It's a great way to make the penguin enemies look less out of place. Yeah, it helps. Finished checkpoint placements are appreciated. Bomb Man is an upgrade, still fairly easy. And then 3 bombs at once. Yep. Gotta leave my comeback. Well, thanks for coming by. I appreciate the viewership and had fun chatting with you. Come back, I'll welcome you in open arms. Like a tasty multi-layered dessert. This level is a stack of individually good things harmonized and form something nuanced and delicious. It's kind of the dessert I could eat until I explode, which would be fine because checkpoints are everywhere. Fun, well-developed story, clean graphics, fitting, enjoyable soundtrack, focused assortment. Behold. Bees! Ah, yes, the MaGMML staple. Bees, it makes everything more fun. Don't you enjoy bees? I should go and fight some bees right now. Enemies and gimmicks that work well together, challenges whose mild puzzle elements sense of purpose outweigh my usual preference for less conventional count bomb and conveyor setups. Buttery smooth learning curve, thoughtful difficulty progression. Tricky tokens that allow special weapon intervention but encourage the honest way. And consideration for the player, varied architecture, sensible layout. I greatly appreciate seeing spikes below the bottomless pits. Fair and thematically appropriate boss fight. Oh yeah, no, that is actually a good art point. So that way it's not really a pit, but it's just, you know, you land on spikes and die. Like a food simile describing a level about ordnance. I recognize, but don't really mind, that the experience is not perfectly harmonious. Lower path is too tame. Shoot this grenade, will ya? Yeah. Emperor Pepe. Oh god, that's really the enemy's name. Not as anything horrible, it's just... Damn. The name is ruined forever. It's too memey. More health and slowly advancing towards the player would be fantastic. Oh yeah, have it actually move would be something. Rush wrecks the whole sections. Final stretch would be spicier. Dialogue in the last 2 scratches, so the screen's a little flat. Speedrun tactics feel this level's weak points, but they don't take away from the planning, execution, humor, and polish that make it a blast. Jesus Christ. He's smirking. Yeah, I noticed that it was last stream he started smirking. It's nice. We'll have to have a new Flashman reaction when I get some time to actually, you know, cut it out. Make the design for it. It can be a tendency for level designers to keep getting past the point of fun, but instead making a long, sprawling stage. This level's not one of them, ends when the player expects it to. However, the Bomb Man fight was so underwhelming. A little bit, I guess. What was the joke? Because it didn't land? I guess just some funny banter. It's worse than nothing being there. Okay, Aspar, calm down. It's not that bad. It's fine. It's just a slightly tweaked Bomb Man. It's nothing to get, you know... I guess as you all would say, I don't... You know, no, I don't want to go for it. Anyways. Yeah, fuck it, I went this far. As the British would say, your knickers up in a bunch. Have to really enunciate that. Anyways. It was worse than nothing being there. In fact, throughout the stage, the dialogue only distracted from the experience, as it completely broke any sort of flow the level had. Only used dialogue when the level requires it. Since, yeah, it's a little bit too much. Also doesn't learn from that stage's mistakes either. Interest with the count bombs, these are their bare minimum. Enemy placement was fairly messy, hardly noticeable. Without count bomb challenges, although I'm not convinced the conveyor belts added much to the level. Particularly in the final room, checkpoints in this half were both particularly well placed, both before and after. Decent stuff. Tokens overall were good. These were somewhat hard challenges. Mini boss simple but fun. Yeah. Pretty promising start to stage design. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it could have used more just like actual explodey gimmicks that weren't just count bombs. I'm very much in the camp of, yeah, I'm kind of done with count bombs. It's not really my thing anymore. Entry over there, explosive factory based on a true story, it were. I'm guessing you inspected that factory, didn't you? It wasn't that dramatic. You weren't there, of course, and the place got shut down. Yeah, you inspected that factory. People love making big explosive stories out of workplace incidents and scandals like that. Makes it feel more individual. There's a supervillain you can boo at. Of course, real life's not like that. It's far easier to think that way than to handle reality. Fun simulation. Yeah, I gotta agree. Lab safety incidents happen that way. Usually out of just kind of ignorance rather than, you know, malice. Count bombs. Well, I see about 20. Western Railway. Ooh, Western Beacon. Okay. I do remember probably the most significant lab incident I've ever had to look at was just somebody was heating a reaction that produced gas, and it was a closed system. And as a result, they ended up blowing up their glassware. And thankfully, their fume hood was closed, but it created a huge mess, and there was a concern that they made, you know, some kind of explosive product rather than just over-pressurizing things. It was fun to research. Would not have been fun to be there, I'm sure. Greetings, people who checked left at the start of the stage. This stage is the second one I built for this contest. The first one was scrapped. Ooh, okay. However, I did finish the boss at the scrapped stage, so I decided to include it as a bonus. Alright, well, I'm guessing I'm getting a Trickster token for it, so, sure. Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting Magnet Man to do. Oh, God. Magnet Man's actually... Magnet Man... Oh, okay. Alright, this is... It feels hard to collect myself here. At the very least, Magnet Man's pull is actually... Magnet Man's pull is actually a threat. And he's not just on a completely repeating pattern. So it's nice that I actually have to, you know, have a reaction time test. I always like that for bosses. It's a pretty cool use of a Ballade resprite, so I'll give it that. It's a little out of nowhere to start a level with, but I guess it makes sense if you really want to include this custom boss. My uncle's grenade spontaneously teleported to the lab. That is the more logical decision, actually, or conclusion. E1301. Okay. This Turtles in Time music? This sounds familiar. Or at the very least, it definitely sounds like it comes from Turtles in Time. Are those... Is this... Is this damage? That's damage. Okay. Those looked like tiny missiles, but I couldn't quite be sure. It's actually a pretty interesting combination to have. I shouldn't say interesting. Combination. I more mean that, like, as a gimmick, it does make sense to actually include, you know, Desert Storm sand in a Western level. It's just not one that, you know, it recontextualizes the sand in an interesting way, considering that, you know, it's normally meant to be, like, it's a war-themed level, rather than a, you know, a Western-themed one that it originally comes from. This boss is cool. This is a decent mid-boss, although I would say I'm maybe not a fan of it being invincible for so long. At the very least, it takes a lot of damage from a charge shot, so it's nice. Turtle in time music. Shell and Mooney Knee. Alright, I might have to honestly add this to a playlist, because this is hot. Rapidly flashing blue mystery can? Sure. Oh, no? Nothing? Nothing. Oh, something. Okay, I see. How on earth do I actually get that to balance correctly? I guess I need to follow behind him? Okay, but I've kind of messed things up if I got that close. Okay, Metro Boy is going a little bit quick here for my taste. This is a bit of an ask of the player. Okay, actually, if I take that calmly, I should be able to just kind of walk behind. It won't be too bad. Okay, there we go. Alright, fun little puzzle. Kind of feels like a very weird thing to just suddenly drop in the middle of this stage, but I'll take it. And random semi-solid enemy wall. This stage is introducing a lot all at once, I'm noticing. Maybe a bit of a flaw. I do like actually having to fight this guy on a Blade Man platform. So I'm surprised that it actually took this long in the competition for people who are constantly using these Blade Man platforms to actually make it so I have to fight something on one. To the right is the secret? Okay, to the right is a secret. Okay, I have to alternate between these pretty quickly. Make some tricky jumps. Good token challenges. I mean, even if they are maybe a little bit... The first one was oddly themed. This one was, you know, made more sense. At least because we've had an introduction to this enemy, or introduction to this enemy and interaction with the gimmick that was actually presented. Tomahawk Met? Okay. Oh, Slash Beast's kick pattern? Alright. Take it. I'm maybe a little bit tired of the mid-boss mania in this level. They're all well-designed. It's just, this is a lot of mid-bosses to have fought between Magnet Man and this Met and the bird. All the other tokens of puzzles like that. Excellent. And yeah, because the token gimmick is maybe clever, but starting to outweigh its welcome already. Okay, so I see. This one is low because we want it to... We wanted that to carry us all the way over there. Alright. Damn it. Ow. Okay, reset this. Move this over here. Oh, this one's gonna get tedious. Okay, now we do this, and now we hop on this guy. Okay. Okay, now we let this one fall, and then just have to hop back up here, and now we should be home free. Sort of. Okay, yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay, at least it's up here. That's the most challenging part. Now, how are we gonna get this to time out correctly? Okay. Solidly executed. And that's not a transition back. I guess I should have expected that, but it's a bit annoying. This is the most Launchman, Shuttle Man's feeling stages in MaGMML3. Huh. I liked Launchman and Shuttle Man as a stage. It was pretty good. Although, yeah, the mini bosses got... It definitely got overwhelming there. Too, so... Oh, okay, I probably should have I should have seen that one coming. Give me that free health refill so I can base tank it, take damage back down. Thank you very much. Let's see. Oh, this takes a long time to reset. Alright. Let's see. On the topic of other music stuff, so we were talking about, you know, the Guilty Gear Reload a little while ago. The other thing I actually have checked out, damn it, the other musical thing I have checked out from this contest so far was, that The Messenger album with Bamboo Boogaloo on it. It actually was a really good chiptune album. I like the whole thing quite a bit. I don't exactly remember all of it just because, you know, I tend to be a very heavy lyrics type person, so without lyrics it tends to be a little bit difficult for me to remember you know, songs or tracks and such. Oh, that's all right, that's kind of mean. How do I squeeze this through? Okay, this is... Alright, poor conveyance on this screen. Yeah, I'll be definitely giving that album a good listen. On several occasions. Okay, that's how you get through it. Not a great opportunity to take out, oh, okay, wind. Random wind. Okay, bye! For that stage over this still mostly good. It's overcrowded. Yeah, I'd probably agree. The stage is still quite a bit much to go with. Also, come on, the 3 health bars for this mini boss. I get that they die easily, but 3 health bars? Can't you just make them share 1 health bar? That would make a lot more. I mean, doesn't make sense why they would blow up in, you know, not in individual order, but come on now. Especially considering they're also not weak to any weapons. I was actively, you know, hurting myself with Ice Wall there for a second. Crash, what was your history with mashup albums? Oh, I have a good history with mashup albums. I mean, hell, Neil Cicerega's, you know, the original GOAT for a reason. You know, I love Mouth Moods, probably one of my favorite mashup albums ever, and certainly my favorite from Neil. I also really enjoy Fluffaduff's material. As with many people who know of his name, I discovered him through, what was it? The, what the hell was the album? Untitled Paint Project, which was, I mean, we're talking about Mouth Moods. It was very similar in kind of structure to Mouth Moods, but had its, like, own, you know, use of different songs, and, like, it's composed so well. Like, that was one of the first things I actually paid, you know, money for on Bandcamp to download. Also familiar with some work from Hi, My Name is Shan, I believe. Libra H's Late Night Vibes is excellent. Yeah, I'm thoroughly familiar with some mashup work. For the token, the highest point of this train station, you may take it if you can withstand my wind. I'm trying to withstand your bullets and bombs already, sir. I don't need more bullets. I'm good on bullets. Okay, I guess if okay, I guess going up was probably the... Aw, damn it. Okay, retry. Let me go back. Timing on this one's very awkward here. Yeah, I don't like that setup. That is too tight to actually get through and, you know, not get bonked by bullets. Oh, hey, Windman. Oh, God. Get ready for Jank o'clock. Time to deal with weird wind blocks again. Actually, hey, you know what? I had a thought. Actually, fuck this. Good old magnet beam. Nothing beats that. Okay, I should probably start doing this from further away. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. That is a ridiculous test of patience that I do not have. And we're required by Vivia's Gray and Exterior. Keep coming back to this one. All right, I'll have to do so because when I think of that title, I think of Puffadov's similarly titled yeah, his similarly titled Worlds Collide album. But yeah, I'll definitely give that a go. I just love the creativity behind mashup albums when it's like, okay, you actually take the time to, you know, understand a good mashup album, I guess I should really say, because there are certainly mashup albums out there that just kind of like, they don't really, a lot of mashup tracks, like nothing irritates me more than when a mashup track just kind of puts two songs on top of each other that don't really respect the silences and, I guess, non-silences of each other's tracks. Like, they just start kind of drowning each other out at a certain point. And, you know, when someone actually has a mastery of that, it's like, it starts to become, you know, it's apparent, and it really shows, like, that they can make, you know, something quality out of what is essentially a remix. Like, I think for a while, there was, I was thinking of, like, Botanic Sage's work. Because I remember hearing the, it was a mix, it was humming the bass line. It was a Jet Set Radio and Sonic mashup that worked so well. All the silences and upbeat parts of the song complement each other perfectly. But then some of Botanic Sage's older work, like bookending that, didn't quite have that same respect for it. And it was like, oh, that threw me off a little bit. It was unfortunate. But, you know, I think I've gone back every once in a while. Botanic Sage's work is pretty good now, so it's pretty consistent. So, you know, no harm, no foul. But that was the one thing they popped off and got Hideki Naganuma himself to actually, you know, see the video and say, damn, this is good. So, like, I think it worked out just fine. By watching Osai, not to mention he'll end up creating his own bangers when playing Fuser. Yeah, I mean, Asai is certainly a good place to get them. I usually just... The YouTube algorithm is pretty kind with me on this, honestly. I can usually just, you know, browse, and I tend to be the person that clicks on, like, a music thing if it has less than, like, 1,000 views. I'll give it a shot, just to see, you know, what it is randomly. And it's a good way to end up finding a lot of smaller mashup artists. And then, you know, finding smaller mashup artists, the algorithm will usually recommend the ones who are more established, have... maybe we'll say more experience under their tool belt, and you know, I think it's good exposure. I thought the YouTube algorithm, honestly, in the last couple of years has been really good about showing smaller creators. It's just a matter of if you bother to click on the smaller videos it shows you. If it does, it says, oh hey, you're a person who likes to give smaller things a chance. You'll probably enjoy this, and it does that for me, so gotta love it. Classic. Knew him mostly for the Space Jam mashups, and then he made Waters of Megalovania and got insane views. I don't think I heard Waters of Megalovania from him. I'll have to go check that out. Hey, Cool ECT, what's up? Oh, Cool as. Oh, I get it. Cool as. That took me a second. We're talking about mashup albums. Do you have any favorites of yourself, of your own? Cowboys, Trains, and More. This feels like a Western Railway. Give it props for aesthetic theming. Capturing the feel it's going for. Doesn't rely on super fancy graphics. Colton and Bombier make excellent enemies. That Colton before the second mid-boss is a huge hassle. A lot of the Coltons themselves just are huge hassles. Seesaws that are the highlight. They work extremely well with the bullet walls, on top of getting exactly the sort of challenge variety and difficulty curve that make a balanced level. Sandstorm's used well, but it seems to vanish entirely just around the halfway point, leaving it a touch underused. Yeah, the Seesaws did a good job. It was just... It started to just be kind of information overload towards the later ends. No, not really. Well, fair enough. We were just chatting about how we had some favorites between Neil Cicerega and Fluffadolf and some other creators. You know, and how we discover it, either through the algorithm or through watching Asai play Guitar Hero. Thing on YouTube to do that for me any day now. I don't know. You gotta feed the algorithm a little bit on your own. Just try clicking on small things, and eventually it'll start just, darting you to random places. You somehow found me, so. The other thing this level has the boss fights. So many boss fights. The Pippi is a fun first mid-boss, considering its airtime, how much damage it takes. Tomahawk Met was a satisfying fight, although Tomahawk Man's stage theme doesn't fit a boss fight. Train Bros are a simple yet effective opponent. Strict pattern avoids any color coding issues. The team of Tomahawk Man and Charge Man is a wonderful climax with just the right amount of variety and challenge. Magnet Missile Man was an entertaining extra boss, and I see the Star Force inspiration. The whole this is excellent, maybe a bit too precise in some spots, but otherwise pretty fun. It goes over tokens. Magnet Missile Man is great. I enjoy the puzzle spin and stage concepts, but the Windman token was easily the least amount of fun I had in the entire level, and I'm glad that I did not bother doing it. Very little to do with the stage itself, and stringing it all together felt royally awkward. If only one thing were to be changed, take it out. You should get on Spotify and start listening to chill songs while I go to sleep. It works. Fair enough. I mean, I like chill things to vibe out to when I'm trying to do, work, but otherwise I tend to take a more active approach to my music. Can't imagine YouTube wanting to promote a 3-second Undertale video that has a deep cut reference to Sagwa, the Chinese Siamese cat. I mean, I don't know. The name is Sagwa. You can definitely... as maybe disrespectful as it is, there's definitely a Ligma joke buried in there. So, it'll get passed around. There's a level that admittedly wasn't too sure about at first. I like some of the ideas on display here, but the execution on them definitely could have used a part polish. But yeah, the number of mid-bosses was so high. Stop. They were fun and interesting to fight, but I don't need this many mini-bosses. Spread it out into, more stages. There's gonna be MaGMML episode 02 soon, quote unquote soon, save some creative energy for that. Or hell, just make your own Mega Man game at this point. Distribute the bosses, a little bit more evenly throughout. Generally easy enough to learn your first time through, doesn't feel distract from the sheer number. Yeah. Just to extend the stage's runtime, it's kind of a shame. Some of them, mainly the edited Magnet Man, are generally fun to fight. Like I said, there's just way too many of them crammed into one stage. Mostly fine to somewhat disorienting. Put the blame for this squarely on the graphics of the bullet spawners and the hazard blockers. Something about them just looks wrong. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of just they're too small. Mega Man items are not that small typically. The bullets and the blockers are just yeah. You don't typically go under I don't know, say 6 pixels wide, 8 pixels wide. Those were 4. It's a little odd. Something stood out a little better against the tiles and backgrounds. And yeah. Blade Man Seesaw gimmick was used well, especially the whole contest. At least it wasn't 14 mid-bosses. Yeah, I mean, it really could have been. Really, really could have been that level from MaGMML3, but thankfully there was some, yeah. No, anyways, it took me a second. I know what you're going for. With your own, yeah. Just that some of the sections of volume get a bit frustrating, given how you can back off of them. Anything else of note? The tokens in the stage are mostly fine, the exception of the last one. Yeah, it's not enjoyable to do. Tomahawk Man and Charge Man duo fight takes a bit of time to get used to. Entertaining? Yeah, it does. Although, honestly, Tomahawk Man lunging at me with a blade in the first couple of seconds gets, as maybe a bit of a get away from me moment. I just got here. It's odd ideas, more disorienting. A little frustrating. Yeah, it's just too much. Just constantly just stuff thrown at me. Not my favorite. The concepts here, the bullet dispenser, shot absorbing thingies. Yeah, it's probably the best word for them. I think they're supposed to be shields, but they definitely just feel like thingies. Time required for some of these maneuvers get precise and unforgiving. At least they weren't too damaging, but yeah, they did get pretty tight for no good reason. Wind feels restrictive in the way you have to fit through narrow gaps. Tokens are finicky. Jumping on, shooting at you, requiring you to jump at them while it's retracting, otherwise redoing a whole puzzle. Get the idea. Loud ambient wind, in contrast to the exo stage, which is quiet. Audio mixing. Music choice is energetic and catchy. Yeah, music choice is good in this level. Yeah, I mean, something I'm probably gonna have to check out later with more Turtles in Time music. Pretty neat and creative too. On a bit punishing on the damage side. Checkpoints are plentiful. Alright. If you like Mega Man 9 and 10, I personally really like them, especially love their music. I really like 10. I'm not as much of a fan of 9, although it's not a bad game by any stretch, or bad Mega Man game by any stretch. Like, 9 is solid. It's just, for me, it has problems with really... I'll just put it this way. It really rides Mega Man 2's proverbial dick. Like, it can't stop trying to be Mega Man 2, the worst game in the franchise, in my opinion. And it is so annoying that it can't stop trying to be Mega Man 2 with just its design. And it's like, look, we're back to Mega Man 2's controls. And oh, look, this reference to something that happened earlier in the series. And oh, look, don't you remember? We did this in Mega Man 2. Don't you love it here? It's like, stop it. Mega Man 2 is terrible stage design. Stop copying Mega Man 2. And, yeah, so it kind of ruins, you know, my fun in that way. But, you know, it's otherwise, it's decently well designed as a game. I much prefer 10, even if it has the worst weapon selection. I mean, Mega Man 9's weapon selection is fucking phenomenal, and that really is what saves the game. You know, to an extent. Mega Man 10's selection is iffy at best, but I mean, otherwise, the level design, the music, the aesthetics, my favorite joke in the entire Mega Man franchise of just riding a space elevator up like 5,000 floors to fight Wily on his last level is so good. I just wish that Mega Man's 10's weapon selection was better. Then it would probably be, you know, a much stiffer competition between it and like 7 and 11 for being my favorite game. Mega Man 9 is a better Mega Man 2. Yeah, I mean, certainly. It's at least, I would play Mega Man 9 over 2 in a heartbeat. And then 9 threw me off my first play because, like, why the frick can't I slide? Yeah, I mean, I was aware of the gimmick before I got into it, so it didn't really throw me off too much. I was very, you know, I started with 3, and that was around the time Mega Man 9 was released anyway, so it's like, oh, cool, I can start downloading things on the Virtual Console, and, like, that's where I kind of got into things, and I already knew that 9 was going to have the whole, you know, no sliding thing and no charge shot, but... You know, I honestly don't miss it too much. I'm one of the weirdos who really thinks that the slide kind of started ruining Capcom's level design philosophies and boss designs. They just kind of like started throwing things at you and just being like, screw it. You can, you know, you'll figure it out, right? You got mobility now. It's fine. And then, as I've ranted so many times in this channel, Mega Man X turns the dash into that problem to, like, the 11th level. Like, dash, fuck it, you have mobility. We don't need to do stage design. We don't need to do enemy design. Who cares? You'll figure it out. Essentially, it's an upwards quick laser section. I'd rather play that. Where was that? I'm trying to think of that. What stage was that in Mega Man 9 that's like, that we're talking about with the upwards going quick laser? Someone jog my memory, because I don't remember anything quite that insane. Oh wait, no, duh. It was with all the magma beams. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I mind about that is that you had to use Concrete Shot, and I don't like being forced to use weapons in levels. It just feels like bad design to me. It goes against Mega Man design principles, but it was still fun. What's about a level concept, theming, soundtrack, gameplay focus, and challenge tricks are so good. The execution is very messy. Yeah, it definitely is. Too many bosses, collision object things. Quibbles with the Magnet Man path. Tornado Bolt piercing the train mini-boss's shield. The main issue is clarity. Put more space between new gimmicks so the players have a chance to understand each one. Choose Colton before using its bullets as a hazard. Show players how to destroy a question mark container sooner. And not in a way that's very easy to miss, because it just, like, literally the Met spawns on top of it, and you can, if you're not looking at it, then just poof, it's gone. Simpler background graphics. Pay attention to a complex challenge. Streamline the architecture. It was full of terrifically clever challenges that make excellent use of the assets at hand, especially in the token puzzles and bullet barrier challenges. The interior areas are so cluttered, and the horizontal seesaw sections so complicated and lengthy. It's a little clear without extensive trial and error what you're supposed to do, if what you're doing is actually working. It doesn't help that the later challenges are so precise that special weapons, which rob the challenges of their character, seem like the only feasible solution. Yeah, I had to kind of pull out a Lek Beam to get rid of the Coltons at that one challenge. It's too much. Innovative and well-executed mini-boss fights shake up the gameplay at all the right times? No. they kind of just interrupt the flow of gameplay at many wrong times. Pacing overall just right. Tile work is beautiful. The Howling Wind just used a good effect, and I just love the jumping onto a moving train stick. Yeah, it's cool. Although teleporting onto a moving train stick after fighting a random magnet man does kind of make the flow a little weirder. I would have preferred if it just teleported me back to the starting room. Got derailed, and all it needs is to get back on track. Haha, Flashman. You're so creative and so funny. But Crash, it's a Wily stage. Of course you have to use your special weapons. Yeah, could do without forcing weapon usage. Forcing weapon usage is how I get the faster as the Boo Beam Trap. I mean, yeah, Boo Beam Trap, and hey, Mega Man 2, more things to complain about, right? Like, yeah, it's one of the worst examples of it. Just needing a full Crash Bomber and then not being able to use Crash Bomber, and the boss refights right after. Just, Mega Man 2 rant. I have to play Mega Man 2 again. I mean, I will play Mega Man 2 again on stream at some point, just because I need to document all the jump and shoot games, but like, man, whenever I play Mega Man 2, y'all are gonna hear some next level bitching. Like, you think I bitch about the X series, and I do. You're gonna hear it a lot in Mega Man 2. I have something to bitch about on almost every single stage in that game, and most screens. It's, Literally solid creative level overall. From the very start, level's atmospheric. Goes on the western elements. The addition of areas without music feels artistic. I feel like the bullet barrier gimmick interacts with the player, enemies, and other gimmicks in the stage. Mega Man games don't always have gimmicks to interact, but this felt pretty natural. I mean, natural in the sense that there's a weird shield thing? I don't know. Good ideas. Yeah, but it got too tight for my tastes. And for judges' tastes too, it seems. Bullet streams were on theme replacement for instant death spikes and allowed you to pull off some clever segments. One complaint I do have with the gimmick. Graphics for them, they're easy to parse, really too easy to lose track of what's going on. Yeah, they're very small. So I had to jump into one and test it myself for the first time. Well put together, a couple of rooms in the background was too busy to properly understand what's going on. You saw it was probably used to the best of its ability. It's naturally an awkward gimmick. The enemies in the time puzzles, you had to tank damage to complete puzzles within a reasonable time frame. Yeah, it was noticeable. Each token puzzle was in theory a nice idea, too messy. The one exception was Windman. You had to complete control over movement rather than dealing with hit stun. Worst Ace Spark opinion. Holy shit. There have been a lot of bad Ace Spark opinions. This might be the worst one I've ever heard. That the Windman token was the fine token in this stage. See, all of them have some problems. Windman token, like, no. I saw that. I immediately did not want to deal with that. That is L take. Ace Spark. Ace Spark makes worst judge comment ever. Asked to leave judging panel forever. Let's see. Let's use start in one with Magnet Beam. Yeah, it was not a good thing there either, but thankfully at least it was an isolated case of having to use the Magnet Beam in the first segment. I will, you know, I could withstand it a little bit. Chill Penguin last. Penguin game was X1. It was first playthrough? Rough, yeah. Yeah, no, X1 is, X1 and X4 are the only Mega Man X games I can withstand, and that choice of wording is very particular. I do not like the gameplay of the X series at all, but X1 is fine up until Wolf Sigma, in my opinion. Then it gets kind of crazy. I liked every boss. I think you could have dropped one of the first two, probably the bird. It felt so unnecessary to have quite so many of them. Oh, thank God. At least he says that the mini-bosses got a little bit too much. Quite chaotic, but it was... Second playthrough clicked and became a very satisfying conclusion. Mega Man existence is fun, but kind of contributes to too much. See what you do next. Additional 2022 comment. Holy crap. Okay, yeah, you're going places, mate. Alright. Fade Magnus. Is that a name I should recognize? Hi, Fuse Man. You even have a custom animation. How cool of you. If you're interested in current events, my pet rabbit, Watt, has gone off the grid. Oh, my man. Color with the Surge, though. If I'm patient, he always comes charging back to me. There wasn't much resistance in making those puns, huh? Oh, hello. Yeah, the rabbit, Aqua Teen Hunger, let's go. Oh, Watt. Oh, hey, we were just talking about you, Watt. You're small. I certainly am. I guess there will be a lot of resistance taking me back. Big Bunny, very cute though. I forgot to bring an octagon. This is embarrassing. Big chunk. Oh, fuck. Hold on. I have to listen to that closer now. You're right. Just fuck. There was I've mentioned Siva Gunner. Yeah, we've talked about how I've listened to Siva Gunner on this channel before. For any in the chat who don't know who Siva Gunner is, very popular prank mashup artist on YouTube. Basically, you know, uploads things under the guise of them being game OSTs, but then there's a bait and switch joke in there. It's a whole team that they work on making these uploads, and they have tons of uploads, very prolific about it. Anyways, this is a running joke on their channel for a while, and my friend Ira Team / Crash Icarus Nega in the chat, don't ask, this was one of those things that he had an obsession with for a while, and I just got to constantly fucking hear Big Chungus memes, and it was like, okay, it turned into a stop talking about Big Chungus moment. I'm tired of hearing about it. So, needless to say, I will be sending this to him later. Secluded terminal by Quantix. Alright, more of an even level, even judging level, and another Flashman high score, it seems. Nice. Feels like some other obscure NES music. And now we've got Game Boy enemies to deal with. Alright, from the onset, I'm not sure that I like the color scheme that was chosen for the outside there. Alright, I mean, this is better. I mean, it's literally just Ballade's graphics, but this is better. The outside rocks just kind of have a baby poop green color that I'm not really too fond of. Is this gonna take me somewhere? Yes, it will. How did I know? It's almost like I know Mega Man games so well. I'm gonna hit harder by the Big Chungus song when I finish Super Mario Gaiden. Start playing after the credits. That's just about as, bad as, the Jeopardy theme playing as soon as you're done with a Super Mario World hack. Or at least, it's not quite complete without the big "you fucking idiot" text there either. Ow. Okay, right. This was the attack that absolutely deafens my ears. This boss. I'm not a fan of this boss. There's too many invincible spots to it. Alright, thankfully it's at gun level, so you just quickly wipe it out. It's a Genesis bootleg. Damn. My memory of old Joel clips fails me. Okay, good timing challenge there. So far this level is actually making pretty good uses of this simple falling platform gimmick. I gotta say, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Dukes the cat, yeah, ripping his face off. Though most of the enemies are definitely kind of turning into cannon fodder. I would say that that's maybe the one thing that needs a little bit more work here in this stage so far. It's just making enemies that I can't just very easily blast through. Alright, that one hit me only because I was getting greedy and I just wanted to completely, light it up from up close. Okay, this is a decent challenge. Like, the platforms don't quite line up with him. Alright, good. And one thing I will say that's actually been nice about a nice side effect of the whole streaming thing has been that I am now sufficiently pretty tired on Monday and Tuesday nights to actually go to bed for work. I'm a little bit more of a night owl, as many gamers are. I am a little bit more of a night owl. And certainly nothing to the extent of like, oh shit, I'd like to go to bed at 5 a.m. But to the extent where adjusting to a 9 to 5 schedule was kind of difficult at first. It still is. It's not exactly the easiest thing for me to remember to go to bed on time. Oh, those are deadly. And like always hits hardest on Monday, or on Sunday night, where it's like I'm just not that tired at all. But speaking here so much actually is, quite a big help. On Sunday nights, it's like usually I'm kind of stuck with relying on some melatonin, which I've honestly had. I've had to kick for the most part. Like melatonin used to be something I really had too much of in grad school, because like in grad school I was literally taking melatonin to fall asleep because I was so stressed out all the time. And, like, I literally couldn't sleep because I was just, like, so paranoid of, like, having to plan out my day and, like, oh, how do I get work done in the right order tomorrow? And it's, like, time for another 10 hours of misery followed by coming home and then doing 4 hours of work on a PowerPoint presentation. So, yeah, it was rough in that sense when the melatonin eventually stopped working. But then I still kept being tired from having so much of it in my system. And even now, but now it's like, thankfully, I've managed to, for the most part, kick the melatonin. But it's like still on like Monday mornings, because I have to take it on Sunday nights because I'm usually just too awake. Like, melatonin has this almost inverse of coffee effect. Like, it's not literally addictive, but you definitely become dependent on it to actually fall asleep after a while. And like, you get this, you still get kind of the gross crashing feeling that coffee tends to give you. Okay, so that's alternating spikes. But it's like almost from this reverse direction where it's like coffee, you come from high energy and crash down to having nothing, and you start off with no energy in the morning. Melatonin is odd because like you get a decent night's sleep, so you have some energy in the morning. But then, okay, This sucks. This sucks as a mini boss. Not a fan. But then like you're like fucking you're groggy for like the rest of the day, and you literally just have to wait for it to wear off because there's too much melatonin in your system to flush out effectively. Like, oh god. I'm just glad that I'm not like taking fucking like 5 to 10 milligrams a night anymore to fall asleep. Now it's more like I will take like a third of a small bite out of a melatonin gummy. 5 milligrams, a 5 milligram gummy, and that'll be sufficient. I don't need to be completely just ruined for the rest of the day by that. No longer part of the 4N club. Get addicted to coffee. Couldn't be me. Tea drinker all the way. Should have paid attention to that. Hopefully the checkpoint was close. Okay. I can work with this. Yeah, no, agreed. Tea drinker superiority. But also not a caffeinated tea drinker either. I actually get kind of, I've noticed, I actually get kind of nauseous feeling whenever I have, like, coffee, caffeine. It's, I can't really do it anymore. I think it's, like, used to not bother me so much when I was younger because I was more of a soda kid. I wouldn't have a lot, but it was still, like, enough to, help it sometimes. But now it's, like, 'cause I've mostly kicked soda, and, I mostly drink non-caffeinated tea anyways, just because, like, chai tea is my favorite. It's, like, I've had there's just days where it's like, well, I slept for 4 hours for no reason last night. Guess I need something to get me through the office. Oh, that's not how the challenge I was expecting to work. I have, like, whatever caffeine is available at the office, like usually some kind of iced tea or something like that you can, get from a K-cup or something. And, like, I feel, like, awful. Not only is it like I get that hunger suppression kind of effect where it's like, yeah, I don't really want to eat lunch anymore. It's like it goes further, and like I just start being unable to like focus because there's just this kind of clenching in my guts. Not a fan. I'll stick to just waking up the boring way, thank you. even though I'm not a morning person. Tea with honey, soothing. Yeah, I would say at work, I just have some simple, like, packets of, like, honey chamomile and lemon ginger that I go toward. Actually, that'll spark chase will work. But at home, I typically have either a blue or a red Thai tea that I will mix with some honey, some milk. What else do I usually throw in there? Honey, milk. Ooh, I brew it with cinnamon too. Cinnamon's really nice. Yeah, that tends to work out for me. Occasionally, I made candied ginger a while ago, and as a byproduct, I had some ginger sugar, and that pairs really nicely with the tea. That's a secret down here, isn't it? All right, that makes sense. Okay, I see. Not nearly as mean as it first seemed to be. One little cooking escapade I do need to find a little time for is that since I made pasta carbonara on my birthday, that looks aesthetically strange. Since I made pasta carbonara on my birthday a couple weeks ago, I do have some leftover egg whites. I think I'm gonna try to turn that into like a chocolate fluff, basically. But I do have a bunch of old Dutch cocoa sitting around that needs to be used as well. I feel like that's probably the best application I could find for it, and also get rid of these egg whites at the same time. This should be cool. Water shield being useful? Crazy. I'll take this guy out. All right, wonderful. Water shield's a great shield. I just have to actually remember to use it. It's the only issue with it. Platforming challenges are very solid in this level. I'm liking the challenge here. Maybe sometimes the difficulty, the hazard communication's a little off, but you know, I'll veer on being a little too difficult rather than being a complete cakewalk. And then just going in that, just saying fuck it, we ball and sliding through that final section is rewarded. I love it. And no boss. I mean, alright. I guess it's a little disappointing for me, but I think the judges will understand. Like, yeah, there was enough stage there already. Didn't quite need a boss. A Ballade would be fine, but a Ballade is also the most frustrating dev kit boss, so. Sim and T, gotta try it myself sometime. It goes with sushi. Yeah, it makes sense. You have big Easter dinners. You know, I probably would if I had a larger family. So, like, also not beating the fake Italian allegations. Like, my, it's mostly just kind of a matter of, like, family drama. Family just kind of fractured, split apart. My mom's kind of the black sheep of her family. My dad is as well for his family. And he's not Italian, but I get the Italian from my mom's side. And, yeah, we don't... It never really manifested that way. After a couple of, you know, bad experiences in my lifetime, and I'm sure several in her lifetime, eventually the cord was kind of cut, and, yeah, big family things didn't really happen. And so big Easter dinners didn't really happen either. It was also probably compounded by the fact that my, I think a good chunk of my family, or at the very least mom, wasn't religious, so we didn't really have a, you know, an Easter thing to kind of fall on, you know, for, you know, ceremonial purposes like that. Easter kind of got overlooked, actually, after a while in the household. We would start just kind of be like, oh, it's Easter. I mean, mom would remember because she grew up in that environment where it was like, you know, big thing, big holiday. But, you know, eventually after a while it just became, oh, hey, Crash, you want to paint some, like, Easter eggs? No? Yes? All right. Are you too old for that yet? Okay, cool. Parents are Italian. Mom got $400 worth of cheese. Oh, hell yeah. I love cheese. Favorite cheese probably would be... There's this like, drunken goat cheese that, like, my local supermarket sells. It's got this really delicious kind of nutty flavor throughout it, as well as, like, some wine, red wine kind of flavor in it as well, but just enough to be subtle and not like overbearing. It goes super hard in Mexican food, and I mean, probably a lot of other things too. Let's see. So yeah, opinions on that stage. Outside of the kind of baby poop aesthetic in the first screen, otherwise, you know, art was good. Enemies were fittingly thematic. I mean, well, I guess the stage's theme just kind of is a, I don't know, random base kind of thing, so really any enemy works in it, but, you know, at least nothing clashed. The gimmick design was simple, but very effective. Very interesting ways to just use rising platforms. I'm shocked it was that, you know, that good. And then there was also... What else is cool about it? It didn't overstay its welcome. Even if it was a long stage, it felt, you know, fair, challenging. Token challenges were mostly good. Checkpoint placement was pretty solid on, you know, there as well. Music was good, though I won't think it's quite so memorable. Yeah, I mean, it's just solid. This would be like, wow, this is a really, really good Mega Man Maker level of the month, or maybe of the, you know, last couple of months kind of thing. But I guess overall, I mean, outside of the gimmick challenges, like the enemies were a little bit cannon foddery, though they got better in the latter half of the stage. And not having any boss still feels anticlimactic for me personally. But, you know, overall, good stuff. Uses just pesto gouda if you've never had it. I'd give it a go. I'm coming more around to pesto, honestly, as I get older. I've always had an aversion to green vegetables because I'm a child. But sounds like it would go pretty hard. If you could for an extreme, like see your first impressions of the finished piece. Yeah, we could probably do that. I think I'm actually gonna go a little bit longer. Probably play maybe 1-2 more stages. So yeah, we'll do that. Heavy Game Boy vibes here, interesting decision, like the unique enemy set here, skewing many of the typical opponents for Game Boy enemies like VtuberEN and Boostin. It works to the level's advantage, giving unique setups I don't always come across. Yeah, for once this level actually kind of made use of the Game Boy enemies in unique ways, rather than just kind of, you know, they is the same compared to every other enemy, or every other usage in this contest. Gimmicks, I really appreciate the use of the CFTF girders. They're such a simple, highly elegant concept. They provide just enough variety. The level rarely repeats its challenges. The length is one of the piece's biggest issues. The long level. I think it sustains it pretty nicely. I didn't get sick of it. Only art design problem is that there's not enough checkpoints. Oh, I didn't find it that bad. Once together in my head, not enough individual moments stand out. Yeah, the token one where I fell down the elevator stood out a lot, but I would probably agree. Only a couple things I can probably actually remember of the challenges. No issues from a functional perspective, but the whole metallic design feels sterile. Yeah, definitely. Got kind of lower identity, bogs down the level. Space station visuals are a core component. Perhaps I'd suggest a few more outside sections. Yeah, they would. Break things up a little bit and be like, okay, the first inside section, then the second inside section, etc. Anticlimax, so thankfully the final stretch before it was good enough to end the level anyways. Fun enough, might not stick in my head well, certainly overstates itself a bit. Can't say it was bad level either. Respectable job. I get the feeling of like some of the lesser known Mega Man enemies and gimmicks. I wonder why. Certainly tries to do all it can with the Dangan Man platforms, utilizing them in ways that play on their toes. The enemy placement also complements the platform sections really well. Decent enough threat without feeling too overwhelming. I mean, a lot of them were pretty easy, but fair enough. To each their own. I feel like they're covering the same challenge with a few differences, while this definitely isn't the case for every part of the stage, still getting a bit worn out. Yeah, I mean, I guess just complete platform stuff, but they're still good platforming challenges themselves, so it'll be memorable for that reason. At least a broad strokes memorable. Second mini-boss, simply put, the Dangan platforms really don't mesh well with the twin shooter. No, they do not. I was able to get through it without taking damage once with the Lek Beam, but that was really unclear to end up just doing. I just kind of balled, and I hoped, and it worked. Nothing a checkpoint directly after this. There's only a few rooms away. It's possible to mess up and die before that. Redo the twin shooter battle again. Yeah, I had to do that battle too many times for my personal taste. I don't really have any other complaints with the level. It's really decent, somewhat better experience. Let's see. I have to play my clip. Hey, so you had to do something? I'm called. Yeah, no problem. I mean, things happen, right? You don't have to devote your life to the streamer, but I'm just glad you're here. Excluded echo chamber of loud music. Pretty average used as far as the scrolling vertical platform gimmick goes. Not bad, but something about the stages. I mean, it's just a shame. You keep missing the stages, and you're just hearing me yap about repeat the judge commentary at this point. Doesn't vibe with you. Enemy choices that are somewhat obnoxious. I wouldn't say they're obnoxious. I'd say most of them are pretty easy, honestly. Just falls through unannounced. Just noticeable during the final section. I didn't notice it. Maybe it was fixed in the release version. Long stretches of instant death hazards, no checkpoints in between. And the third token design, where you avoid the stomper enemies, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool animation. Just the music wasn't so loud. Somewhat disappointing. There's no boss, but the stage is already difficult. Could say it's its own boss. You know, stretch, metaphors, what have you. Aren't we all here to watch you? Yeah, but yeah, you know, there's only so much about the repeating the judge commentary that's entertaining. This is indulging me. I want to hear what the judges have to say, and then maybe if they have an absolutely delusional take, I can go off of it. But usually they're pretty on point. It's one thoughtfully crafted death trap after another. Creativity abounds. Greater timing and object placement are impeccable. Slightly abrasive to me, sets an appropriate pace for the gameplay. Tile work is polished and appealing. There's a bit of visual clutter. I've changed the depth of the platforms so they travel behind floors and ceilings. Yeah, that probably would have helped some of the odd ones here and there that poke out. It was about a handful of screens. Laser introductions. How the entrance to the excellent third seduction room should be more suspicious. How the second mini-boss room is problematic. But overall, the design is tight. Celebrate the tricky challenges, dropping down a shaft after the girder has passed, racing across the line of girders headed toward the laser, and hopping across multiple girder beam streams with lasers on top and bottom. It does do a good job of making these challenges different throughout. Ready to declare this one of my favorite levels in the contest, but on a replay, favoring special weapons, saw some of its flaws. Laser Trident, Ice Wall, and Rush Jet negate the difficulty entirely. Oof. I noticed just how long the level is, how far apart the checkpoints are, how scarce power-ups are. Unfortunate trifecta that would have ruined a lesser level. Happily, this is a good level, good enough that doesn't even need a boss because the final stretch is satisfying. The sweetest stuff in MaGMML3, Freddy hitting Clash Royale's female characters. So just a spark then? Look, I'm not gonna say it's just a spark. But you do have a point. Maybe the majority of them are from one particular judge. There have definitely been some, like, huh, kind of things I hear from Flashman, and you know, every once in a while I'm like, Patchy, did you play the same level that I did? But, yeah. yeah. There's Down's Five Nights at Freddy's I'm recommended right now. I don't know. Need to, I don't know what to say cool as. You just need to... do you have any siblings? Maybe they're using your account while you don't know. One time we fucked with one of my friends because he accidentally left his account on the group TV. And he left the party after leaving his account on the TV. And we went through putting a bunch of things into search history, including several different Firegator Thursday videos that were all the same, just, you know, the Firegator Thursday meme of just a gator on fire and, you know, looking to be on fire and just having some kind of, you know, generic rock track playing over it. But then it got worse with, like, you know, let's say sheer clothing demonstration videos that are somehow allowed on YouTube, despite definitely including, you know, nudity. And then other just, you know, other weird things we could possibly think of. And his algorithm was screwed over for a couple of days, and he didn't quite catch on. He thought he was hacked, rather than the more obvious answer of his friends are bastards. You don't know how much the loss of a single element in the stage can affect the final level. This is a good example. In this case, missing a single checkpoint has knocked the score of the level from the high 80s to what I gave it in the end. Yeah, it's fair. It's worth a couple points off. It's got a bit repetitive. You have a cousin. Wait. Yeah. Hey. We found it. Good live cast to TV button. Thank God I don't use Chrome. It wasn't a live cast to TV thing, but yeah, I get the sentiment. It was just like a smart TV thing that we logged into. Actually, no, wait, it was live cast because it was I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't have a TV. So I just kind of go over there. I'm like, hey guys, what's the technology? Let's figure it out. Not to use my YouTube channel to watch videos because I don't want recommend just be 72 hours of train videos. Oh, so your cousin's that kind of person. Opera GX video sponsored by. Yeah, maybe I also use that, but you know, shh. We don't need to infest this stream with sponsorships quite yet. We can fly under the radar and actually enjoy our time, not having ads thrown in our face everywhere. Oh god, I'm so. It's sick. I really hope that on this channel, I'm not going to get to the point where I'm like taking sponsors, and that's one of the main reasons I never, ever, ever, ever want this to be my job. Maybe if I end up being like the top 0.001% of fucking streamers with really good viewership, fine, I could transition to this being my job. But like, among other factors, I absolutely hate how inundated with ads YouTube and Twitch is. It's just disgusting to actually have to go through. Like, even if it's like, you know, things that aren't stopping the content, to have like a fucking GamerSups GIF pop up every like 10 minutes or 5 or whatever the frequency is, it's just like, come on, man. I'm trying to just enjoy some entertainment here. Is there not one space that corporate America hasn't taken over yet with constantly trying to sell me something? It's literally just the fucking SpongeBob meme of, I think somebody is trying to sell me something. It's literally that. It's constantly that all the fucking time, and I hate it. And like, I really hope to keep this as a hobby so that way I'm not dependent on that for income, because it will be a sad day when I sell my soul just so that way I can, you know, fuck some fucking gacha game that I don't care about to pay the bills. It would be... That would kind of be my personal nightmare. When you have somebody who actually enjoys working in an office setting, having to hawk crap to pay the bills is possibly the worst thing that I could possibly ever envision for myself. In class for animation majors. Oh boy, animation majors. Why are you showing up to the science majors stream? No, I'm just kidding. Doing the streaming thing is going to be my job if you're in need of it. I mean, yeah, you know, and that complicates things too, you know, because then it turns into like, well, how do you pay your editors? Well, you need to take in money from sponsors because that's where most of the money actually comes from, and so it turns into this loop of just, you know, business, and it's just how business is done in our world, blah blah blah, political rant, but like, you know, it still sucks. It's just like, I hope to try and carve my own. I will carve my own way to where I can mentally compartmentalize and not feel scummy doing my streams. But it's, yeah, I don't know. Advertising is just, it just sucks. I'm so sick of it. That's why, in the words of the Russian Badger's friend Skulker, I scam literally everybody out of money that I know. I'm not, like, ad block on anything possible. Yes, YouTube terms of service, you didn't hear that. I'm just saying, Revant still exists. So, grab it. Anyways, back to the commentary, so we can get onto another level before the night's over. Need to be a checkpoint, difficult boss encounter. We didn't appreciate having to fight the mid-boss 4 times. Yeah, it wasn't great. 3 times was already enough for me. It was too much for me. Uses everything else brilliantly. Challenges felt new and unique. Appreciate how every moving platform had a background telling you how it worked. See the spikes on the right of the room before you face the challenge. Yeah, that was good. Wasn't going in blind, although you would have still had time to react to it. I did like the use of the mini-boss and felt that the second fight was really interesting, like a natural culmination of the level's assets. Alright, fine. The platforms could have just been a little bit closer together to make the timing less tight. I think that would have fixed things. It was a decent concept, but a bit clunky in execution. The level did end fairly abruptly. I think using the idea you had for the heart token challenge as a climax would have been more exciting. Yeah, I gotta agree there. Still, it's a great level, well done. My cousin into Clash Royale? Yeah, you probably found it. Oh, do I have to go and give my best hog rider right now? I mean, it's late. I probably shouldn't be bothering my neighbors, but all right. Hog rider. That's probably wasn't that great, but that's the best you're gonna get for right now. I can't go fully booming when it's 10:44 at night here in the East Coast. This isn't my house. This isn't my wonderful home. No, plant man, it's not. It's a different kind of plant. Ah, I get it. All right, what's 37 here? It was rated R. Oh no, for a level with such a good pun, Flashman didn't like it that much? Uh-oh. That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad that I could deliver. That's why the animation majors are watching a science major stream, but to be fair, I wanted to be a paleontologist before shifting to the art stuff. You know, ironically, I also kind of want, well, there was a stint where I wanted to be an animator for a while. I really wanted to be, I mean, I've always wanted to be a chemist, but like, when that, oh god, hold on, this is loud. I have to skip the credits for a second. Turn the volume down for the sake of my ears. There we go, that's a little bit more comfortable. I've always wanted to be into chemistry. I always loved science, but like after the high school science fair hit me, and it was one of the most disorganized and poorly conveyed pieces of shit I ever had to go through in my entire life, along with an accelerated science program at our high school. I was really disillusioned for a year and like was doubting my love for the game, as it were. And so I actually took a brief stint into animation because I had like ideas for like, you know, I had like a Mega Man fan project thing that I kind of wanted to idea floating around my head with characters and all such kind of things. And you know, animation, you learned a little bit of like basic Flash animation. It was all right. It was kind of tedious, but you know, my lack of art skills were kind of showing. The fact that I wasn't very practiced in it. You know, but eventually, I remember distinctly there was a day where, like, a, you know, college rep for animation was kind of, like, invited in to, you know, talk to the high school students and try to sell them on, like, you know, a career in animation and what that's going to mean. And they're talking about, like, oh, you know, you have to get a portfolio and you should be practicing these things. This is what you have to submit when you have to do your college applications and yada yada. It's like, okay, I just distinctly remember having the thought listening to this, like, you know what, hey, that sounds difficult, but like, you know, I can do it. I could probably start practicing at this and, you know, spend a lot of time here and like work late nights, you know, researching my art techniques and figuring this out and getting better at it and build this. And then like, wait a minute. I just distinctly, just in the instant I had that thought, I said, wait a minute. This is the same exact reason that I got out of chemistry, or tried to get out of chemistry, because I was worried that the work was going to be too hard and time-consuming. Why the fuck am I working in animation? I'm going back to chemistry. That's what I know, and that's what I love. And so I did that, and I never looked back. I don't regret it to this day. Not to say there's anything wrong with animation, just I've never been a creatively oriented type. The fact that I've made this fucking layout for stream is probably the most artistic thing that I've ever done. And even then, it's still got heavy, like, I mean, the background part is just literally assets copied from ZX. But then, you know, the window overlays here for chat window, which, great, it's not working. And, you know, the video window here and the CI logo, like, yeah, I made that myself. It's still highly referential to, like, the source material. And it was, you know, pixel art, math kind of thing. I do not have an eye for, like, just broad strokes randomly doing shit. Well, not randomly, but, you know, freeform doing shit. This is not in my vein. I need structure. Thanks to Fella for art of Treasure Man and the mimetics. Thanks to NAOH for programming Treasure Man's boss fight. Alright, well, I know what's gonna be here now. Well, I guess I should have known from the title. Sick rope technology, Boo Ripley for being a good tester and friend, as well as coming up with the original idea for Treasure Man. Thanks to Stormpire for giving me tips that I would have otherwise missed. Thanks to Art for helping me with the tile set palette. Thanks for testers in Discord. Thanks to all these people. That's a lot of people. Wow, a lot of people helped on this. Hope you enjoy playing through my level. Played excellent. I'm incredibly say you aren't a creatively oriented person when you've done some pretty dang good editing, especially that last casino highlight. Well, thank you for the compliment on the highlight, first of all. But I mean, I can be creative when it comes to memes. My mind is really good at stitching, like, you know, patterns and referential shit together. I think I have an eye for maybe humor and pacing. I don't really have an eye for aesthetics or like musical production or anything like that. It's the visual and like anything that involves me like practicing hand-eye coordination outside of video games is where I tend to struggle a lot. I'm sure it's one of those things if I took time to learn, you know, I could do it, but it's like, I don't know. There's already enough things that take up my time, you know? But X1 was your first game, didn't know bosses would beat the powers, just using the weapons on stage, just using the buster in the boss fight. Parentheses, it didn't go well. I mean, yeah, it tends to be like that until you know, I can't imagine being a Mega Man player jumping in and not knowing that weaknesses exist at the very least. That's hard. Just to fight the boss with the buster, make them more challenging. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to do that too. Memes are mental. Well, you found the right place. Once I break out of my shell, I swear to God, y'all are going to be infested with like the most cursed images you've ever seen. Special theme, Pocket Bell's Pirate Ship by Cooler, boss theme, okay. Shoutouts to Simple Flips. Yo, shoutouts to Simple Flips. Ethan, wake up. Like, I think the editing spot has been something a little bit more... Just do it. It's been a little bit more... Oh god, okay, but still it's more text. Treasure Chang, when you die, your voice gets added to a sitcom laugh track. Well, there's worse fates in the world. I think editing tends to actually, yeah, work better for me because of the humor timing, and like, I'm able to... It feels like something I can just kind of learn with... It's very numbers oriented, and it's like, okay, it's like the aesthetic part is already there. It's more like collaging something, or collaging. I'm gonna go collaging the word, or the stuff together. That's something I can wrap my head around more, and just like, okay, how does this filter work? How does this effect work? How does the technical aspect of it all come together? Can I play with sliders and, you know, have that work? There's nothing here that's particularly demanding of me to like actually design something from whole cloth. It's more like just arrange things, and I can make memes. That's something I can do. I just can't really, you know, drawing is not really my forte, or at least I don't think it is. Okay, that's not the right weapon I want to use. This is why I don't use the quick switch weapons. I'm bad at it. Come on, there we go. Look at the sentiment, find the humor there. Drug addicts and fever dreams. Stick around. You're welcome here. You're in the right place. It's a platform? Oh, that's a platform. I thought that was just going to be like a crusher. I mean, I'd probably take damage if it smashed me against the wall, but... It's only Tiger Woods. Mega Man fan games with a little amount of damage and hidden enemy. It's so aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I was glad to that too. Plus, I mean... For something I was complaining about earlier when I was first playing this game was just like, okay, so there is damage to this. I'm not really a fan of like when special weapons in Mega Man fan games do like asymmetric damage to enemies. Like, you know, how in this contest the Laser Triton tends to do 1 damage to most things and then 4 damage to some other enemies. And like enemy weaknesses, I guess is the succinct way to say it. I'm not typically a huge fan of that just because it throws off my mental math, but when the game at least like tells you like, hey, there is, you know, like here's literally a number you can keep track of. It's like, okay, I can understand that more. That makes more sense to me. So yeah, without this, I would probably be a little bit frustrated at figuring out that's like, okay, well, Laser Trident works good against Joes. Does it work good against anything else? Also, that I don't like that platforming challenge. That's a little too much to ask. So sometimes when I'm good at drawing, I just don't like doing it. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, the couple of times I do draw, I do kind of like doing things. Like, I've posted on Twitter, like, every once in a while, a sneak peek at kind of, like, what the 3D V-Roid model looks like. Oh, okay, that challenge is easier if you just ball correctly. I understand. And, like, I don't know. I've had some competencies there, and my actual artist friends have actually praised me and being like, this is actually, like, remarkably competent, Crash. Like, you probably shouldn't, you know, put yourself down on this. Like... I could do it, but it is also still like, again, I'm working with kind of some pre-made stuff. I'm figuring, and like, I think Blender is probably the closest thing I've come to, like, where it's like, yes, I'm actually making something whole cloth and it like looks fine. I've only done the donut tutorial, granted, but I think that I can actually get away with doing some more. And eventually I will have to when I want to make a full upgraded Vroid model, because I'm not satisfied with just, you know, the stock edition. I have perfectionism in my blood, and I will forever, you know, use that to achieve great things at the cost of my mental health. It's just how it goes. On paper, but you want me to do digital, you're gonna get a stick figure. Yeah, some people are just like that. Like, I don't know, my friend Dirtnulk, who did, you know, my model art here, and, you know, does a lot of other, like, does my thumbnails. At least some of my thumbnails. The stream thumbnails he does. He's very much a digital arts person, but I've never really seen his on paper art stuff. I think it's probably, yeah, for like the same things. He's a much more of a competent digital arts person. Just happens that way. But, you know, I feel like I would probably prefer digital art if I had to get into like a drawing medium, just because it's easy to erase and undo things. Like, I can actually, you know, spend my time doing my perfectionism and honing it to exactly what I want to. If I had to do more physical art stuff, like, I have enjoyed it in the past for, like, you know, high school art purposes, but overall it's like it's just the commitment of every stroke, man. I can't quite embody Bob Ross every single time I paint. There's got to be some, you know, order and commitment to what I do. It's too much pressure. Okay, this is an interesting combination of enemy challenges. Did I say interesting? Maybe I meant frustrating. Every time, that bubble is right there. Okay, there we go. Or does the hook only move back at a certain point? Okay, I kinda... Fuck. Much better as digital artists usually would not design anything 3D. I cry. Myself back when doing that a clip of yours, otherwise it would have taken me another 7 hours to finish. Yeah, definitely don't stress yourself out too much over it. There's a certain point where it's like, okay, I could have added, like, you know, a couple more jokes here and there for, like the you know, the casino clip, but, like, diminishing returns. Especially, you gotta remember yourself at a certain point, like, the algorithm just chooses favorites, and it doesn't matter how high quality they are sometimes. It's just like, I don't know, today you will be the video with all of the figgy pudding, like... I just fucking missed that. Amazing. Like, there was, I don't know, just browsing through YouTube today. For some reason, there's this one person's, like, raw stream of, like, I don't remember, some dating sim game that just came out. And, I noticed it because it had, like, what is it? The NFPA Fire Diamond thing on it. On, like, the character. And I was like, oh, cool, that's, like, chemistry. I can take a look at that. Then it's like, I look at that and compared it to that person's, like, other view counts, and it's like, oh my god, this one video has 90k views. Everything else they're doing averages, like 1,000 at best. I mean, still better than I do, but, you know, still, it's like, is this video any different from the rest of the content they make? No, but fuck it. YouTube said you win this time. Like, that's just how it goes. Chiptune music. I like it a lot for the stage. I have to actually take a look at it after the, you know, according to what the credits said. I'm also really enjoying... Okay, I am enjoying the use of that boat that just killed me. It's actually combining well to where it's like, oh, I need to watch its shots. It actually does something with the platforming here, unlike in Centaur Man stage. Let's see, thankfully I don't have to do that shit above again. Oh, whistly the soundtrack feels. Like kind of woo. Okay. Let me catch up on chat here. Your stuff's hard. Yeah. 3D tends to get a bit perfection-y, but I don't know. Blender is at least a good program. Like, I like how Blender actually just has basically every tool that an 3D artist has ever wanted at their disposal. It's just a matter of like, it is an infinite toolbox. You need to somehow navigate it. You have to just learn it in pieces, and eventually it stops becoming as overwhelming. Give me controls for model, ask me to animate it, probably do it without too much difficulty. The finished clip took me 7 hours to finish, but in fairness, most came down to making custom assets. Damn. I mean, I guess you said you are an artist, but, you know, it's a lot of heart and soul to put into it. I think that's hard. This is tornadoes here. Yeah, no, and they're not, like, they're thankfully not janky like they ended up being in Stall Woman stage, which, you know, a tragedy it is. Though that, I believe, is going to be the next clip, that I make. Oh, fuck. Okay, the pits are getting annoying. Yeah, the next highlight that I make is going to be the, we're jumping straight from Chaos City Lights to Jenka Clock in Stall Woman stage. I found out there's like a lot of things that I timestamped just don't really work as clips. Like they're kind of half jokes. Like they would make sense in like a longer video just to show as like a highlight of what happened. But I don't know, as standalone jokes, they fall maybe a little bit flat. I'm thinking that maybe I might keep their timestamps and just release like a, you know, random like, you know, clip dump kind of thing where it's like, okay, here's a bunch of jokes, bunch of half jokes. Fuck it, they kind of work together, right? Here's just a 5-minute dump of you know, mini edits upon all of them. What the? Okay, instant gravity, instant falling down to my doom. So there's still a little jank. It's not quite jank o'clock, but it's 15 minutes to jank. Power right after jank o'clock. I might, well, you know, maybe we'll upload it in that order, just because so far everything on this channel has been in order, and as long as I don't have to break it, I'll keep it that way. But you know, maybe not. Maybe if I'm having too much trouble actually getting to editing this weekend, it'd just say fuck it. It's not like it's sacred or anything, so. No, okay, I'm sick of this challenge. The rest of the stage has been kind of fun and overly chaotic. This challenge is too much. It did not need to be over pits. Over spikes? Sure, that would make more sense. But pits? No, it's getting frustrating because getting hit by that ship is just basically a death sentence. Any clips you think you could work? The tendency of finding good ideas out of suggestions. I mean, yeah. There's to a certain extent, you know, I like to still have my hand on the pulse of things a little bit, but yeah, I could send like one thing that I was thinking of. You'd have to, I think it was the stream I did on June 22nd. It was Froggy Gravity. I had a whole like thing planned where it's like I wanted to okay, yeah, okay, I got to a new point. I'll try to do this one more time, Buster, only before I get completely sick of things. Okay, I was about to just completely like tornado blow out the ship. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, but it was like the Froggy Gravity. Like that stage kind of, I got a little mauled over that stage, and it was because like you know, by the end they're basically asking you to remember an entire phone number, and it's just kind of, oh well, that joke didn't work. Sorry, Eddie. And it's just, you know, it's ridiculous by that point, and I was already pretty peeved by everything else that had gotten to me up at that point. But it's like trying to edit together, I was like realizing like, I don't know, my rage builds very gradually over the course of the level, and while I could make it work where it's like, oh, like there's a rage meter that's building over time, and eventually, like, you know, once it pops off, Crash goes into a, you know, a rant about how shitty the theme is, and like, or how the gimmick really rubbed him the wrong way, and how it's too much, and blah, 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 complain. Because, again, I had a pretty good rant at the end of that, but it was just kind of like, thinking about it, it was just like, this is mean. I don't want to, like, just put this out there and then publish it to the MaGMML server and then be like, hi, watch my clip where I basically just say I really dislike this level heavily for, you know, a solid 3 minutes. It's just kind of like, it came off the wrong way to me. In the same sense, like, I had an idea to where it's like, there were some tier 3 and 4 levels that just, Gilded Man, and then the other level that came right after it that just had, like, just clown vomit aesthetics, and you know, then also there was the Rolls hotel room palette swaps that were available that also kind of looked like dog vomit in my eyes. Sorry, MaGMML team. And it was just like, I don't know. I could make a just simple like SpongeBob, oh my goodness edit, but it was just like, this is again mean. But then there's just another idea, so I just scrapped it because it was too much. We'll get back to the other things, but yeah, coolest. I didn't get back to your other comment. My favorite game. Okay, I'm annoyed with the stage. This is asking a lot out of the player. Too much instant death. Same thing that people had problems with in Guitar Man stage, I'm having problems with here. Not my favorite. But going back to the favorite video game question, I would say that hands down, it is Mother 3. That game, while Undertale is influential for some, Earthbound and then especially Mother 3 was like key to my development as a young adult. Like, and it still also just holds up as a excellent game today. Amazing music, just a heart-wrenching story that's also still very funny and like, you know, shows how life is a combination of both very difficult and you know, lighthearted moments. You need to be able to balance the serious with the funny. Fucking excellent gameplay. For somebody who hates JRPGs, Mother 3 does everything just so right. Also, again, mean to get into the boss gate there. Don't like that. Mother 3 is going to be a game on this channel at some point. Not now, because, you know, I feel like I would want more of an audience to share it with, you know, live, and it's also one of those things where it's like, there will be time where it's like, I can't just, you know, yap for nothing by just referencing what's going on. But I think Mother 3 is probably going to be like, if I ever get this far, like a 100k special or a 10k, something between the 10 to 100k special range, depending on how fast channel growth is. Because, God, that game means so much to me, and I can gush about it for hours on end. Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. There are other games where it's like I've sunk more time into it, I've spent more fun. Like, I've always been a huge Team Fortress 2 fan. I've spent like 4,000 hours or so in that game. Not 4,000, like 2,000 hours or so in total. But like, nothing will ever top the amount that Mother 3 has mattered to me. A bastard enemy placement. Let's see, you could always think it work. Creator Foggy Gravity is currently dealing with my behemoth stage. Say the Rage Meter idea for Worthless Man IMO, you got heated during that playthrough. Fair. That's fair. I was not a happy camper at the end of that stage. I was fucking mad. I was ready to tear off Celestial Woman's head with my bare hands, go straight into the code and just, you know, absolutely destroy the stage. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'll save it for that. And that one I won't feel so bad about. Like, Froggy Gravity was just like, alright, it's kind of whatever, lower tier stage, blah, blah, blah. But having something in tier 8, it's like, I feel maybe a little bit more comfortable. And also, like, I don't know, at a certain point, I was just getting salty about difficulty, rather than, like, I don't know. It's salty both ends, but either way. For some reason, I'm more comfortable with that one than Froggy Gravity. Okay, finally made that jump. Fuck's sake. Favorite Robot Master from every game so far. Let's see. Can you take a Treasure Man and get me out of here? I've been stuck down here for 3 days! Good luck getting out of this trap, Mega Moron. You'll be staying down here until you comply with my demands. Trap 2. Right. Not Mega Man, I'm sorry, but I'll have to keep you down here until the preparation is complete. Nothing personal, just business. Alright, from each Mega Man game, I would probably have to say, and we're probably going to just go in terms of, like, for the most part, it's going to be fighting mechanics, how the fight works. So Mega Man 1 is probably Bomb Man, dynamic fight, you know, pretty easy to not get hit, but also, you know, not super cheesable. It's just a straight up like, hey, react and move according to where the bombs are. I like the fight a lot. It's very fast, and you know, it doesn't get to weird, frustrating like kind of precision like the other Mega Man 1 bosses tend to, or Cutman, which was really easy. Mega Man 2, it's Crash Man. You could probably understand how I got my name at that point. I don't know why. I just really like Crash Man's design. And then, long story short, a whole thing with like how, you remember there was that one guy like Hayden or something who did like the whole Crash Let's Do It memes where it was like, you know, all the Robot Masters were gay or something, and like, I don't know, being a conservative child, that didn't rub me right, so I was thinking, anyways, I really ended up liking Crash Man in spite of that. Out of spite, weird spite. It's a crazy story that deserves its own story time. But like, yeah, Crash Man best for Mega Man 2, even though he's a piss easy boss. Mega Man 3, maybe Needle Man. I've come to enjoy his fight a lot more as I've gotten older, and I can actually react to it a lot better. But it's still maybe a little bit fast paced. I'm not a super huge fan of a lot of the things in Mega Man 3. Mega Man 4 is probably Bright Pharaoh, then we have Drill Dust, Dive. I probably like Drill Man the most. Good fight, good design, like it. Reminds me of Crash Man, so I've gotta like it. Then Mega Man 5, we have... do I like any of the bosses there? That's a good fucking question. Yeah, Charge Man... I don't remember, Weakness Sword and then Wave Man, and Wave Man takes out, not Crystal Man, that's someone else. I don't know, Mega Man 5, I'd have to get back to you on that one. I don't really have one for Mega Man 5. You'd probably say Gravity Man, just because Gravity Man's cool, just because Gravity's cool, but that's kind of a weak opinion. 6. 6. Nightman's a good fight. So is Yamato Man. I like them and their designs quite a bit. I like Plant Man's design a lot. The colors really pop. So one of them. 7. It is probably not Burst Man, not Slash Man, not Dracula. Might be Shade Man or Turbo Man. Probably one of them. 8. It is, I mean, Grenade Man. Who doesn't love Grenade Man? Though honorable mention goes to Search Man just for being dual-headed, and that's funny. Mega Man and Bass, Burner Man, definitely Burner Man. 9, Galaxy Man, Jewel Man, Splash Woman, all good. I really love Jewel Man's kind of eccentric and flashy design. Mega Man 10, we have Pump Man. I just like Pump Man's design. I don't know why. It's just also a really good shield boss because you can break his shield. It's fun. And then Mega Man 11... probably Volt Man. Again, just good design, good fight, all that good stuff. One RPG that ends up being the defining moment of their gaming career. Mine's Thousand Year Door. Thousand Year Door is fucking good, though. Like, that is... I gotta love Thousand Year Door. That was, I mean, that really set the standard for me in JRPGs, for the most part. So, like, it's probably why I don't enjoy a lot of other, like, you know, most basic possible JRPG you can think of kind of, you know, things. Oh god, okay. Treasure Man, oh my god, that is... The fluid motion is kind of unsettling for a Mega Man title. Okay, Treasure Man has a lot of shit being thrown at me all at once. It's a little bit much to manage. Okay, I guess it wasn't that bad, though. Easy to damage race. Yeah, no, Thousand Year Door is just such a solid piece of work. How could you not love that game? Mechanics are... And I mean, Bug Fables, the spiritual successor to that game, iterates on it perfectly, too. Like, yeah, Thousand Year Door. Awesome. Someone says TS2 reminds me of that one meme. It's like, I'm in Spain without the day. How would that be? I don't really quite... I guess just because it's shortened? Huge fan of TS2 despite never actually having played it. Those characters just iconic. Gmod, SFM shit posting. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Top tier. But I mean, the gameplay is also just fantastic. It does the same thing that I like about Mega Man. It gives you simple controls, a variety of options to take care of, but, you know, something that's easy to start with, difficult to master, but you don't necessarily need to master them to have a fun time in the game, unless you know, go into competitive sweat territory. Like, it's excellent. I will probably play it at some point if the servers haven't, you know, imploded by the heat death of the universe in 5 years, and maybe Valve has maintained things. But, yeah, it's That was the game that got me into FPSs in the first place. I hated FPSs before Team Fortress 2, and then I was like, wow, this is actually awesome. I can get used to this. Needleman and Mega 3, so I'm glad you liked him because he's really iconic to me. Yeah, no, you're well. I mean, I'm glad that we can relate. Needleman's someone I appreciate later in life, certainly not earlier. Way too hard when I was young. And Mega Man 3 is maybe a game that, even though it was my first, is, in hindsight, is probably the second worst classic Mega Man game in my opinion. But if you like it, then have fun with it. I mean, Fuse Man, Vault Man is... Oh, yeah, Fuse Man. Yeah. Sorry. It's... I'm sure they're just gonna come out with, like, I don't know, Electricity Man next, and it's gonna be like, oh god, I can't... I mean, we have Elect Man, but now we have Electricity Man. Oh, it's different, right? Like, so many fucking fire, ice, and electricity bosses. There was I heard a sub notification. I don't know where it was. I should have been one that was on screen, a little animation that popped up, but I guess Streamlabs isn't working today. So, whoever just subscribed, thank you. If it was Coolez, thank you. That's maybe my best guess right now. But whoever did just subscribe, thanks. Sorry your notification didn't get to appear on stream. I just wish that anything... I just wish that Streamlabs was working today. We'll have to figure it out for tomorrow. But yeah, it was rated R. Overall, that level got frustrating with the damage and instant death towards the end, even though it was pretty consistent on the aesthetic and had some decent, new gimmick usage and use of the ship firing bullets at you aspect. So, that was cool. But overall, not... no, I was not having fun with the stage by the end of it. Let's see here. I might... let's see. It is getting a little bit late. I do need to go to bed soon. So... Uncle's grenade story shall remain lost media. Not unless I click... No, it's okay. We could talk about that later. That was a fun story. But, yeah. Actually, I'm going to just skip the judge commentary on this for today, because it is getting late. I would like to, get to Grimspex's request to demo the, clip that he just sent. Have a little premiere here. So, let me just pull that up really quick. Third title, so it was about 11... Yeah, almost raged, definitely raged. No, don't screenshot me, too late. It maybe won't be written in the VOD, but I read almost everything. There is a vocal record. Let's see here. Let me get on over to... So wait, no, not Gmail. Get over to Drive. There we go. I still don't like how separated a lot of Google's products are. I hate using Google. Why is it everywhere? Okay, we have Drive. That's the wrong Drive. That's the right Drive. Okay, Power Stone thing. Can't prove it's real. We're all made up. Yeah, it's true. We are all schizophrenic imaginations. Okay, wait a minute. So, hold on. Where'd you say you sent it, Grim? I'm in the Drive folder right now. Gives me a subscribe. Alright, thanks. Yeah, sorry it didn't appear. I don't know why the Streamlabs isn't working today. We'll hopefully fix it tomorrow. I see in the Drive folder, I don't see anything there. And I didn't see anything in my Gmail neither. Wait, hold on. Alright. I'll say this is not quite the tier 2 scrapyard theme, but this is pretty good. I'm liking tier 12's theme. It's actually standing out to me. Actually turn it back up to normal volume. Here's finished clips folder inside of the drive that you shared with me. Material, finished clips. Oh, that's weird. It only just showed up now. Oh, whatever. Alright. Let's download that. It exceeds the maximum file size that Google can scan. It might. Okay, fine. It's not virus laden. I trust you. And if anything, I'll just run a malware bytes on it to make sure that this MP4 doesn't somehow have something, malicious in it. one of those funny things. I could easily afford to have a Malwarebytes subscription, just so that way I could have, the premium thing and like have it actually regularly scan what I do. But God, paying for things, disgusting. Anyways, so let's see. Let's get this up here. Move this out. Move this over to the other screen. Well, actually, keep it on this screen. So we will close out. Oh God, does Crash know how to use OBS? Let's find out. Where the hell is the application capture? There it is. Okay, so we need to window capture, window. Let's see, media player. I believe that's it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then for my own purposes, I'm going to quit out of the game. I need to get to sleep. 5 a.m. Help. Oh goodness. All right. Bye. Thanks for joining, Cool Lads. Hope to see you around again another time. Thank you for joining. It was really fun having a couple people to talk to today. Okay, now for my purposes, yeah, let me exit out of the game so that way I'm not hearing background music. Okay. This doesn't turn into an aga. I don't think we're gonna quite get to anything that legendary, but yeah. All right, so rage the clever power stoner enemies. Power stoner sounds like a really huge buff guy who's I inserted that word. Buff guy who's high on weed. Yeah, very much so. That is not what I would have called it. Power stoner is not what came to mind for the first time I saw that. That is, would Stone Man be a frequent user of the bong? I mean, on the one hand, Stone Man is kind of like stoned, pretty good, right? But I don't think that you get hit by Stone Man. You would get power stoned at that point. He makes other people stoned by that metric. He himself does not get stoned. That's Stoned Man's job, and that's going to be the appearance in Mega Man probably 13 or 14 when Capcom's really. Dr. Wily passes a kidney stone. And Jason, okay, this is a fucking keeper. Pulling at the bottom of the barrel for ideas. He doesn't make you stoned. He's just stoned because he's not shooting stones at you. You understand what I mean? I'm imagining Stone Man hitting you and giving you a contact lie. You could probably justify that as a mechanic, even if you wanted to keep it like PG-13 friendly, right? And just say that, oh, well, you got hit really hard in the head by the stone. You got a concussion, right? You could turn that into a concept. Touch Stone Man, get dizzy. All right, you win. Beautiful work. Grimspecs, that was excellent. And I think that's probably better than anything I've produced so far. Your practice in animation and editing is quite apparent. Yeah, I will email you later and talk to you about, the compensation and terms of uploading and who uploads and what have you. But self-taught editor. Hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, as one self-taught editor to another, you definitely your level of editing is what I could hope to be. With more practice, more time, more patience, that kind of thing. Right now, it's just like, I don't feel like fiddling with the text too much. But like, I really love the way it's like, okay, you had some, good text coloration. You had it, rotating and vibrating in good ways that like kind of help with the entertainment. Good meme selection. I love the crash thinking emoji. I mean, it's such a simple edit, but it's also like a really good one. I probably could have given you just the hair and the glasses. That probably would have made your life easier. Honestly, I have a couple of things I can give you, but like I really liked a lot of those custom things. The Stoned Man was good. I love the Mega Man box arts. Those and the way they flew in and out, excellent. Like this is top quality stuff. I love it quite a bit. Yeah, I would enjoy some of those custom assets. We can talk about this. I will send you an email sometime during the middle of the week. Whatever, I enjoyed building stuff myself. I still appreciate it. It takes time, and I even if I don't have fucking Opera GX sponsoring me to pay people, I still want to offer compensation because I'm in a pretty good place in life. Like I make a good salary. I'm not gonna try to play coy about it. I make a good salary at the job I work at. I'm at a point where I don't quite know what to do with all my money, so like I can offer some compensation in return, and I'm very happy to. It's work that should not go unpaid. Um, busy tomorrow, so you won't see it. Yeah, that's fine. I'll probably, I mean, realistically, I do Baldur's Gate with a friend on Wednesday, so probably Thursday, Friday, maybe into the weekend. I'll get back to you, and we can discuss things before I actually upload it. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. We hope to have that up on the channel soon. And to everyone who stuck around, thank you for joining. I will say this is probably the highest number of views I've actually had in a while on this channel. The channel's been kind of dead lately. Um, so it was really cool to have not only a lot of people to chat with, but a lot of people just check things out. So yeah. Um, have a good night, all. We'll see you tomorrow for the rest of Tier 12. And I'll probably change the title to make it make sense. All right, bye.